Hey, try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it. Egg whites, cheese, tomato, fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize it with fresh veggies, Black Forest ham, or steak. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what we do. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the GOP is missing a huge opportunity.
That has been the great failure of the Republican Party, not to talk about the damage the left does. They talk about individuals, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, doesn't mean a thing. If you support the left, you are supporting the damaging, perhaps irreparably, of the society. I know you mean well, and it doesn't matter.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test from my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
Military Mortgage Talk helps guide veterans and active duty service members through the home buying process. They can save hard-earned money by talking about their mortgage options in the process. Backed by BBMC Mortgage, a full-service lender, Military Mortgage Talk gives veterans what they deserve. Access to all the VA programs and services available. Call 248-438-5542 for loan options, and tune in this Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer, or visit militarymortgagetalk.com.
5:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the very latest this morning with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Right now, things look good on the 8-inch Expressway and the Kennedy as well. The express lanes have been closed for overnight work. They should be opening shortly on the inbound side. No problems to report on the Eisenhower, the Stevenson. The Ryan looks good. Northbound Tri-State, traffic is heavy between the Adams Tollway and the Toohey Toll Plaza. There's some road work in that area. The other tollways look good. No delays to report in northwest Indiana. Traffic is a service of Burger King's Grilled Dogs. Where are you going to get a delicious grilled hot dog? Your backyard? No, Burger King. Burger King grilled dogs are made with 100% beef and flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's get the update with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Flash flood watch in effect from 10 a.m. this morning through late tonight. Mainly cloudy today with a couple of thunderstorms. Could be severe mainly late in the day, bringing damaging wind gusts, even a tornado high 77. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
In Chicago this morning, we have clouds and 69 degrees, 74 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Steve Beeman Show with co-host Carol Parisi, empowering you Sunday evenings at 8 right here on AM 560.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Did you hear the breaking news?
What's that?
Rory McIlroy is not going to be in the Olympics?
Yeah, I heard it on Mike Scott's newscast.
Zika virus? I mean, don't you think we're getting a little uptight? Because he could wear like a muumuu or a mosquito net over his,
It's tough to swing with one of those on.
Well, they can get it fitted so it won't affect his swing. He could do it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a little sissy-ish.
Yeah, it's a little,
he's not a pregnant woman, as far as I know, unless he's identifying as such.
Or he's trying to get his wife pregnant, and that's a problem.
Doesn't have a wife, does he?
Who knows? Maybe.
Doesn't have one of those.
Oh,
Didn't he just break up with the tennis player within the last year or so?
Then why is he skipping out of the Olympics?
Maybe it's just solidarity with pregnant women.
Yeah, he's going to form a bond.
Maybe it's in solidarity with the Jaguar they shot.
Oh, what Jaguar?
Oh,
who shot? Oh no! Oh no!
Go.
Did somebody fall in the Jaguar pit?
No,
No, not a pit.
What?
Juma.
Juma!
Oh, this is going to drive you crazy.
Oh no!
Hang
please.
on to your seat.
I got my overalls. Yes.
The Olympic torch relay took a horrific turn when a Brazilian soldier shot and killed a jaguar that had just been involved in the torch ceremony. The jaguar mascot for the Olympics, Juma, was photographed in the town of Manaus.
Manaus, yes.
Manaus.
Actually, Manaus. Sorry.
Manaus, as the torch passed through on its way to Rio. And the whole thing went off without a hitch, but then the big sedated cat, when they were trying to get back in the cage, bolted towards the soldier, and he opened fire, shot, and killed him.
There's your Olympic mascot.
Yeah.
that is so sad.
Rio Games getting off to a good start. I mean, it is just a catastrophe down there. We'll talk about the security. Para-Olympians, para-athletes were attacked and robbed at gunpoint.
Are you kidding me?
No.
From which team? I mean, I know we're 44 days away from opening ceremonies.
Yeah, I don't think any athlete's going to make it to the games at the rate that's going.
From Australia? Did anybody die?
Just a Juma.
Oh my God, we stopped, but it's way too soon. So tell me more about Juma. What kind of coat he had?
See, I haven't seen any video, but I'm going to assume Juma was rushing the Brazilian soldier to protect him. To bring him, to bring the soldier into his protective, nurturing custody, but the soldier overreacted, and now PETA is calling for the Brazilian army to be disbanded.
You should see this picture of Juma.
Where's the bullet wound?
In the head. It's really kind of. You know what? They don't hold anything back in foreign countries or certain countries. They'll let you see everything. It's full disclosure. There's there's a chalk outline. Oh.
Yeah.
This is so. Did he really have to shoot, or was he just an overzealous cop or soldier who thought, I'm going to prove a point here?
Yeah, I don't think it was an assassination, so I can only assume the report that he was being rushed by the Jaguar such that he thought his physical well-being was in jeopardy. He decided to protect himself.
Well, there's the torch pictures. There's actually another soldier holding him with the man behind them holding the torch, and he's sitting so properly. He looks so regal.
Yeah.
And now he's dead.
Yeah.
Juxtapose that next to him, shot in the head with splatter everywhere. PETA's going south. PETA's going to take this to the streets.
I can't wait.
They've had enough.
Actually, it'd be fantastic if Ingrid Newkirk brought the whole PETA contingent down to Brazil and confronted the Brazilian army. I wonder how that would go for PETA.
Oh,
I don't think well. Yeah.
Poor
Yeah.
thing.
So today we mourn and remember the life and legacy of Juma, the shortest kind of tenure of an Olympic mascot that I'm aware of.
Oh my God! You should see. They're holding to take the picture with the Olympic torch. They're holding her down with chain link, a leash. It's metal, a metal leash. So, I mean, they expected that to end well when they went telling them, it's time to get back in the cage. Come on.
It's a jaguar.
We're going to.
It's a wild cat.
I know. That's why it's.
Come on.
Who thought this was a good idea? That can't end well. Nothing bad could happen. Let's do it.
Yeah, if only you, the cat whisperer, had been there to domesticate Juma.
That would have helped Juma.
No, Juma. Bad Juma.
Sit, Juma.
Leave the nice soldier alone, Juma.
Stay focused, Juma. Stay focused.
Yeah.
You can do it.
All right.
Si se puede.
Remember the rings. Remember the rings, Juma. Yeah. But alas. By the way, just as an aside, apropos of nothing, what's with the Dexy's Midnight Runners get up today?
No, these are my overalls from 1982.
Yeah, I remember the video.
Too.
No, since I'm
Come on, Eileen.
Right.
Come on. No, well, here's the deal. I saw these on a Madigan in East Bank Club, and I thought, oh my gosh, I saved my overalls, my jean short overalls from 1982.
Wait a minute.
They're coming back.
You saw these on
are coming.
who?
You saw those on a Madigan?
A Madigan. Not a Lisa Madigan.
You saw Lisa Madigan is wearing overalls?
Wow.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
They were on
You mean
display.
a mannequin?
A mannequin. I always have a hard time with that
Or
word.
a mannequin.
A mannequin.
You know, the funny thing is, both Lisa and Mike could both fit into those overalls that you're wearing.
Stop.
They're tiny.
No, they are little people. They can fit my little pocket.
Yeah, you could carry them around.
So I'm wearing them because we're bringing back the jean overalls. I don't know if you know this, but that's the accomplishment this summer. But also, when you're on crutches, I've got 22 different pockets on this bad boy. I could stick my car keys here, my cell phone here, paperwork here, my pen over here. I mean, it's really a brilliant contraption.
You know what I'm thinking?
What?
Just to kind of tie up these two stories, I'm thinking you could do a Jaguar furred overall as your contribution to bringing them back into fashion.
So you can show up on a Fox show.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Jaguar fur isn't such a bad idea. A mom at Blaine yesterday had lace on her jean overalls. They're really hip.
Was that mom named Paulina Gretzky?
She was hot like Paulina Gretzky. And so your weather is not going to be so hot as we're used to. It's going to be mostly cloudy today. A couple of severe thunderstorms this afternoon, so be on alert, and a high of 77 degrees. And tomorrow, some clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm likely, a high of 75. Any drama or Jaguars or Cougars out on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Cougars, maybe. Good morning, Amy. Good morning,
What
Dan.
about Madigans? Are they on the road?
Oh, Lord help us. On the Stevenson outbound, we do have a crash. This is right at Harlem Avenue. Right lane block, stop and go central to Harlem. It's about a 5-minute delay. Inbound, no real clear delay yet, but you can expect a little bit of a gaper's slowdown around Harlem. Edens, Kennedy, Eisenhower, all fine right now. The express lanes are opening up on the inbound side on the Kennedy. They were closed for overnight work. Ryan is still fine. Adams Tollway westbound. There's some road work. 53 to Barrington Road in the right lane. Higgins to 25 as well. That's all scheduled until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Reagan Tollway westbound on the ramp to the northbound Tri-State. There's a crash in the right lane on the ramp. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. You know, hormone balance is a big deal. If your hormones are out of whack, it can account for so many health challenges like low energy and fatigue, spaced out memory, low sex drive, otherwise known as the dead in bed syndrome. Nothing excites you anymore with you watching more and more TV every night, misusing food or alcohol, and then there's the hair loss that you thought was age appropriate, and then the weight gain. Let me tell you about our specially priced dirt cheap hormone test. No blood, just saliva. Interesting that with over 33 years in private practice, I've never seen normal hormone test results in the first go-around. And that's why you need to have us help you balance your hormones once and for all. So call our HealthQuest radio hotline at 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. No blood, just spit. Call 800-794-1855. Oh, and be sure to listen to HealthQuest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11. But for now, call 800-794-1855.
You can hit it, run into it, knock it over, and it still won't fall over. What is this, you ask? It's the Wobble Light by ProBuild. It's a self-righting, portable, and virtually indestructible industrial work light, ideal for applications requiring temporary high-output lighting for construction, manufacturing, utility, and much, much more. The Wobble Light, the brainchild of ProBuilt Professional Lighting, is the only self-right job site light available in the market. If you're in an industry that requires professional-grade portable lighting, turn to Chicago's very own ProBuilt Professional Lighting, manufacturers of portable job site lighting. Designed for the pros. To view their catalog and much more, visit ProBuiltLighting.com. All lighting products are sold through construction, industrial, and electrical supply distributors. So ask for the Wobble Light by ProBuilt Professional Lighting. Visit ProBuiltLighting.com. A proud supporter of Operation Support Our Troops America and AM 560. For customer service, call 877-707-0800.
AM 560, The Answer.
I can get you a pair of these bad boys if you want.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think you'd look cute in jean overalls.
Totally, and without a shirt, too. That's the only way I wear them. So on to matters presidential.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump tried to talk about faith, and Hillary Clinton tried to talk about economics, but both reverted to their best argument yesterday, which is, I'm not the other guy. That's kind of how it went. At least that's my read on it. Start with Trump meeting with several hundred evangelical leaders in New York City, trying to make the case that they need to be fully on board because some are not. Some are more sympathetic to Trump. Some are not so sympathetic to Trump. And we'll get to that. But here's how Trump, it was a closed-door meeting, but one individual there shot it on his phone, apparently, or at least shot some of Trump's remarks on his phone. And here's Trump's kind of best case of why evangelicals need to be on board for Trump.
Anything about Hillary in terms of religion. Now, she's been in the public eye for years and years, and yet there's nothing out there. There's like nothing out there. It's going to be an extension of Obama, but it's going to be worse, because with Obama you had your guard up. With Hillary you don't. And it's going to be worse. So I think some of the people were saying, let's pray for our leaders. I said, well, you can pray for your leaders, and I agree with that. Pray for everyone. But what you really have to do is you have to pray to get everybody out to vote for one specific person. And we can't be, again, politically correct and say we pray for all of our leaders, because all of your leaders are selling Christianity down the tubes, selling the evangelicals down the tubes. And it's a very, very bad thing that's happening.
What the heck is he saying? Who's selling the evangelicals?
Well, first of all, he's talking about Hillary Clinton having kind of no public record of her views on faith, and she's a
Methodist, right?
Yeah, she affiliates with the Methodist Association.
Does she attend a Methodist church?
I don't know what she does. I mean, in terms of
I
her
don't know who she
church going
or what she does.
I assume it involves not that Methodists do. I assume whatever Hillary practices would be, classified as the kind of conduct that would get you burned at a stake a few hundred years ago, like that. But Trump went on to say, "I'm a tremendous believer, and we're going to straighten it out."
Oh my! Can somebody please help him?
So
Stop talking.
So the response from some of the leaders there, he did himself a favor today. That's Kelly Shackelford, the president and CEO of the First Liberty Institute. Okay. He started the conversation. The president, Penny Nance, the president of Concerned Women for America, which is a substantial organization, a consequential organization, she helped arrange the meeting. She said, I don't think he hurt himself, but there was a general lack of specificity on some of the issues. I don't know that he did anything to bring new people over to his side. Now, he was facilitated in this conversation, in this meeting with evangelicals, by Marsha Blackburn, a congresswoman from Tennessee, who's a potential VP running mate of his. She's on the list, as well as Ben Carson and Mike Huckabee, who try to, bring more of the evangelical leaders into the fold. Some of them, including some prominent ones, are not in the fold. For example, Focus on the Family's James Dobson, Tony Perkins, Family Research Council, not in the fold yet, and it would be helpful if he consolidated the support among evangelical leaders and, by extension, evangelical voters.
Well, Tony Perkins from the Family Research Council, he did step up to the mic and speak.
He gained a lot by coming here today and having this conversation. Now, I don't think people are leaving here with their minds made up, but I think they've moved the needle today.
And what about Seeley Yates from My Faith Votes? Are you familiar with him?
No.
Well, let's familiarize ourselves with him.
I don't think there's been anything like this, certainly not in my memory and in my history. The opportunity for us to give a forum for Mr. Trump to come, sit, listen, and answer questions that people of faith have been very, very concerned about.
Well, and the counter-argument was offered by, among others, Michael Harris, who's the chancellor of Patrick Henry College, and also the chairman of the Homeschool Legal Defense Action Fund. Mm-hmm. He wrote about the meeting that it marks the end of the Christian right. He said the desire has apparently gone from evangelicals concerning themselves with a candidate with a biblical worldview and character to, quote, a candidate whose worldview is greed, whose God is his appetites, is being tacitly endorsed by this throng, talking about those in attendance. That's not, there are some that didn't endorse him. They're still resisting. There's arguments about how much the needle was moved, but Harris went on to write, they are saying we are Republicans no matter what the candidate believes and no matter how vile and unrepentant his character. In 1980, I believe that Christians could dramatically influence politics. Today, we see politics fully influencing 1,000 Christian leaders. This is a day of mourning, saying this is the end of the Christian right.
Can he win without evangelical support, without evangelical voters? Because Fox News had said this, that 25 million registered Christians stayed home in 2012. That's why Mitt Romney lost.
Yeah, I mean, you can dice it up a number of different ways. It is worth noting that
registered Christian voters, excuse me.
George W. Bush and Karl Rove, part of their strategy was in 2000 and then in particular in 2004 was to motivate inactive evangelical Christians to get out and vote because I think the number that Rove bandies about is that only a third of self-identified evangelical Christians were voting, and that turned out to be a good political insight because turning out more of those voters disproportionately benefits the more conservative candidate, usually the Republican candidate. So there is an import to the appeal to this demographic, and to the extent that it can't be consolidated, to the extent that there are more than just a few standing on the sidelines, it certainly hurts Trump. I mean, this is base camp for a Republican candidate in terms of the kind of percentage of the vote of this demographic a Republican is likely to receive. And thus you want to increase the turnout.
What you heard from Donald Trump speaking in front of those, 1,000 evangelical leaders, did he impress you at all?
Well, I didn't hear everything he said. Here's the thing with Trump.
We didn't hear all of it. We did hear a snippet.
I'm not expecting a tour de force on the scripture from Donald Trump. That's not going to happen. The question is, can he speak with moral clarity on some of the issues that are faith infused, but he can speak to them in a political context, whether it's the life issue, religious freedom and liberty issues, things like the Obamacare mandates and so forth. Can he just speak to them with specificity and moral clarity such that you have confidence that if he was elected, he is going to do something about them. He is going to stand athwart those who would tear religious freedom asunder. And, the reviews on how confident people are that he would do those things are mixed.
Did he quote the Bible?
2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ballgame.
Did he go there yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, so the thing to remember is, why did Donald Trump get a plurality of support from evangelicals in the primary?
Yeah.
Because he projects strength. Because there's a lot of people who don't believe the kind of standard issue Republican candidates and Republican leaders anymore, because they've seen those individuals fold in the face of the onslaught from the progressive left. And they said Trump is a guy who doesn't seem like he's going to take guff from anybody. And even if he's not coming from my perspective in terms of faith or understanding of man, I believe, or I'm willing to risk my vote on him, that this is a guy who will protect me, even if he doesn't kind of come, even if I don't even have questions about his character, even if he doesn't come from the same place as me, he will protect me. He will do the things he said he would do. He will stand against the leftist hordes. That's really all I think you can hope for Trump. And if he did deliver that, then that would be the cause for evangelicals to consolidate around him.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey, Sean Hannity here to talk about the importance of our Second Amendment rights and the importance of protecting your family. Now, in order to do that, well, you need the proper equipment and training from DS Arms. Now, as an actual manufacturer of AR-15 and FN-FAL type rifles, they also stock major brands of firearms, including handguns and every accessory imaginable for self-defense, target shooting, and hunting. Now, ladies, you can get basic and advanced training in a family-friendly environment with your girlfriends, loved ones, or even mom. And you can get certified for your concealed carry license. Everything is provided, including a firearm, for only $225, which is a small price to pay for your safety and the safety of your family and your loved ones. Now, for custom rifles made in America by a real manufacturer or concealed carry firearms training classes with top firearms and trainers, will make DS Arms your team. DS Arms, much more than a gun store. Now, they're simple to reach in Lake Barrington, just off of Route 14 and Pepper Road. Call now, 847-277-7260. Or check them out online at dsarms.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up at 5:37, the White House doubles down on Elizabeth Warren and Chris Murphy's Republicans are selling weapons to ISIS line of attack. We'll discuss after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan and Amy, good morning. 73 outside. The Midwest expecting severe weather and some of that rain and stormy weather rolling into the Chicago area this morning. Dangerous winds, tornadoes, large hail expected from northern Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, southern Wisconsin, and Michigan. Donald Trump goes on the attack against Hillary Clinton today. Yesterday, Clinton delivered a speech saying a Trump presidency would throw the U.S. back into a recession.
We see how reckless and careless Trump is. He's proud of it. Well, that's his choice, except when he's asking to be our president.
After a meeting in New York with GOP candidate Donald Trump, evangelical leaders were asked by a reporter to raise their hand if they're ready to back Trump. None did, but the president of the Family Research Council, Tony Perkins, says he is feeling better about Trump.
He's not what we've seen in the media. You know, he's not, he's actually a likable guy. I like him. I like what I heard. I think this is a good start, and I feel much more comfortable.
Tony Perkins, the president of the Family Research Council. Security experts believe Russian hackers have broken into computers at the Clinton Foundation. Those experts say it appears the hackers are the same cyber thieves who stole confidential files from the Democratic Party. Today's a hectic day in Britain for campaigners on both sides of the crucial Brexit vote on whether or not Britain should remain in the European Union. New evacuations are being ordered in connection with large wildfires burning in California near the U.S.-Mexican border. A man who claims he was the Orlando shooter's gay lover believes Omar Matin killed 50 people out of an act of revenge. Coast Guard is searching for a father and 3 teenage children whose sailboat went missing off the western Florida coast. Coast Guard says the sailboat carrying the group was last seen Sunday morning near Inglewood, that's close to Sarasota. Members of the Chicago Teachers Union expected to rally downtown today outside City Hall and elsewhere, demanding more taxation and funding for Chicago public schools. A man convicted of murdering 2 men 6 years ago in south suburban Calumet City could be spending the rest of his days behind bars. Jeremy Rodriguez received 2 consecutive life sentences late yesterday in Cook County Court. Chicago sports, St. Louis over the Cubs, 4-3. White Sox over Boston, 3-1. Chris Sale first to 12 wins in the Bigs. The news service of Burger King's grilled dogs. Where are you going to get a delicious grilled hot dog? In your backyard? Nope. Burger King. Burger King grilled hot dogs made with 100% beef, flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled hot dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes our government is not looking out for our well-being.
441 Syrian refugees have been admitted to the United States just since the Orlando attack. I've got a whole list here of names of people, all warning that ISIS will infiltrate the refugee population. Now, is that going to stop them from doing something stupid? Apparently not, because they're going forward with it.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is the one-stop mortgage shop. Buy or refinance. VA, FHA, and conventional. A local company. Ameritrust Mortgage is your one-stop mortgage shop.
This is Barbara Walters, president of Ameritrust. For any mortgage, call us. We know our business and we get you to the finish line fast. Time is critical when you're under contract and you're doing a mortgage. Our staff underwriter approves your loan. Ameritrust closes your loan with Ameritrust funds. There's never a wait for funds to transfer. Ameritrust is a mortgage banker. Our low interest rates are always a benefit to you. We quote them directly from live screen delivery pricing. That means the best rate. Our fee for any and all of our loans is $795. Charging points is primitive. We never charge points.
Ameritrust Mortgage. Call 815-459-7303 right now and compare. You'll get the lowest quote fast because they make the decisions. 815-459-7303 or go to am560myhome.com.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
5:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the outbound Stevenson Expressway, traffic is jammed now from Cicero Avenue to before Harlem. Police activity blocking 2 right lanes. There was a reported crash there, but it's a big delay. 50 minutes from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound 40, slow from First Avenue to past Harlem. That's a Gapers slowdown. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy as well. The express lanes are open inbound. Inbound Eisenhower heavy, Manheim to 25th, 31 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, southbound fine at 29. Inbound Ryan, you've got a 5-minute delay from the Stevenson at the Burn Circle. And we have 5-minute delays now on inbound I-57 and the Bishop Ford approaching the Ryan. Traffic as a service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it, like egg whites and cheese with tomato and fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize your choice of cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham or steak, even jalapenos. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what they do. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, not as warm. Severe storms and thunderstorms moving into the area. High 77 today. Those storms continue overnight, some severe, low 65. 69 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Health Quest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so yesterday we heard from Chris Murphy and we heard via Twitter from Elizabeth Warren that Republicans who oppose decorative gun measures that failed in the Senate are selling weapons to ISIS. That's what they said. That's the argument they're making.
We had to tell all our Republican, Democratic friends that we're Republicans, hence we are supporting and giving weapons to ISIS.
Yeah, and so the question was put to Josh Earnest, the Dickensian-named White House spokesperson. What do you say in response to the assertion made by Warren and Murphy, Mr. Earnest?
Are you saying that you agree with that sentiment, that it's essentially deciding to sell weapons to ISIS?
I think what is, again, I'll let Senator Murphy and Senator Warren describe the situation as they see it. As we see it, it is, without question, possible for suspected terrorists to buy guns because Republicans are protecting their ability to do so.
Agree with that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's essentially covering for what Warren and Murphy said about Republicans. Very much, we talked about this yesterday, when Karen Lewis, since the Chicago teachers, as Mike Scott reported, are going to be meandering about the downtown area again, demanding more of your money to bail out their failed system. And when you don't sign on to that, like Governor Rauner didn't sign on to it, what do you get? You get Karen Lewis saying that Governor Rauner's ISIS's new recruit. Governor Rauner's ISIS's new recruit because he won't spend money we don't have on a system that the Chicago Democrats and the Chicago Teachers Union has destroyed while not educating children for generations. And Republicans and a few Democrats who don't want to just sign on to decorative legislation to make themselves feel better about themselves so they can pretend they did something while infringing on people's constitutional rights, they're conspiring with ISIS. They're arming ISIS. This is the argument from the left. So a couple of things here. One is, tell me again, those people, particularly those center-right people, can't you guys just get along and work together and just do stuff? Just compromise and just do stuff. You tell me how you compromise with Elizabeth Warren and Chris Murphy. You tell me how you compromise with people who say, if you disagree with me or if you don't do what I want you to do, you are a terrorist. You are an ISIS co-conspirator. Tell me how you forge common ground with intellects like that. And it says something else about the left. And this is something, frankly, a lot of conservatives I don't think fully appreciate. This is not just about disagreements. The left believes conservatives like me are evil, unredeemable, unmitigated, evil incarnate. That's what they believe.
Oh, who cling to their guns and their religion. Yes, that's what they believe.
Right.
They do. But, this is a hyper-partisan issue during an election year, and they're grasping at straws. Elizabeth Warren and Senator Murphy look so stupid right now. And even Josh Ernst can't call them out on it. Michelle Kaczynski from CNN, I love her. She's the one who asked that question. I think that she's secretly a Republican from what I know of her. And I'm glad that she was the only one who even asked them the question. They're saying that Republicans are supplying weapons to ISIS, and he's agreeing with it? Well, that's what's even sicker, that the Obama administration is right in line with Elizabeth Warren and Senator Murphy.
She asked a very even-handed question. Do you think that goes too far? And Josh Earnest's response was effectively, no, it doesn't go too far. Go ask them. Here's the other thing the left does. They always circle the wagons. No matter how outlandish you are on the left, no matter how stupid you are on the left, they circle the wagons. Bill Buckley made this observation many, many moons ago, and it's correct. And sometimes I fall into this trap that I'm about to describe, Buckley describing as well. But it also illustrates the difference between conservatives and the left. And Buckley's observation is that the left does a much better job of picking up their wounded on the political battlefield than does the right. And I think that's true. But I would say, if you have an enemy inside your perimeter, you don't pick them up. You exorcise the traitor. The left doesn't do that as long as they can kind of bring you back into the fold. But they close ranks. You see it with Hillary Clinton, and compare that to what's happening with Donald Trump. And you see it on issues like this, no matter how preposterous a statement you make, Karen Lewis. Where was the denunciations of Karen Lewis in Chicago when she said Governor honors ISIS's new recruit? Nowhere. Quiet as a church mouse from the left, and the same thing now at the federal level.
So the level-headed, maybe moderate Democrats, they aren't even coming forward saying this is ridiculous and this isn't true. They just
have you heard from anyone?
No, I haven't.
Right.
So that's how they work. They're just
just
going to let this go. Just let this one fly over the plate.
And just remember the irony here of the statements from Warren and Murphy and now Josh Ernst. This is from a regime that provided weapons to Mexican drug cartels, Fast and Furious, provided weapons to Syrian rebels, quote unquote, that either were terrorists or wound up in the hands of terrorists, and provided $150 billion for the leading state sponsor of terror in the world to obtain nuclear weapons. And they're accusing Republicans of arming terrorists. I just want to punctuate this. What we're talking about here with the left are dangerously unserious people who have to use hysterical ad hominem to cover for the abject lack of substantive explanations or defenses for the positions and the views they promulgate. And so every Dem should be asked whether or not you agree with what those Ernst and Murphy and Warren have said. And everybody should be put on notice. I mean, if you continue to vote for Chicago Dems in Chicago, in Illinois, or in D.C., you are either an indecent, vitriolic, left-wing ideologue, or you're a simpleton. You choose. Simple as that. And on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I wanted to ask some questions. One, for example, is why the Republicans don't support or endorse the candidate that the people chose. The same people that chose them, voted for them and put them in office. They don't trust this candidate, but the voters were good enough to elect them into Congress and Senate. Another question I have is about the Muslims. The Muslims have to give alms. They have to follow Sharia law, but they have to give alms. And I'm sure they're as strict as giving alms as they are the Sharia law. Their Mecca is in Saudi Arabia, one of the richest countries in the world. They have more money together than the Catholics and the Jews and any other religion. So what are we thinking in America when they're billionaires and they're a government-sponsored religion? And another thing is Karen Lewis. Why the $500 million that the city gave for police brutality, where does that money go? Does it go into the community? Does it help out anybody? Where does that money go?
Okay, thanks for the call, Ann. Appreciate it. A lot of questions there. We'll get to the Trump one because there is still division within Republican ranks on Trump, and that's kind of what we're speaking to, the very different approaches to politics between the left and the right. And this was exemplified by Harry Reid as well. Listen to Harry Reid on the Senate floor talking about the NRA.
85% of Americans support legislation keeping guns away from suspected terrorists, but the NRA doesn't support that. So Senate Republicans don't support it. Here's a little secret for my Republican colleagues. NRA doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about your constituents. It doesn't care about the constitutional rights of the followers.
Really? Really? The NRA doesn't care about you. The NRA is just an organization of people. It's an organization of a couple million Americans.
Are you an NRA member?
I am.
Okay.
And I'm a life member. So I'm in it for the long haul. Or the short haul. You never know.
Congratulations. I didn't know life membership was an option, but that's great.
It is. What
do you get for your life membership?
Subscription to the magazines and all kinds of other stuff. But the point is, Harry Reid is just so dismissive. This is what the left needs to do. This is another version of the ad hominem. It's really no different than what Warren and Murphy and Ernest are doing, which is creating a boogeyman, the NRA. This three-letter monolith. Oh, it's just comprised of a couple million Americans. Every NRA member is a quote-unquote gun nut. Every NRA member is indifferent about constitutional rights, theirs as well as their fellow citizens. I don't think so. Don't think so.
Do you think the NRA is spewing hate, like my pastor said on Sunday? She got up there, she's like, "In the NRA, I'm sick of their hateful rhetoric. They're created all this problem." And I said,
"Your pastor's a moron."
Well, that's a little.
No. I'm not giving quarter to statements of ignorance, and particularly from the pulpit. It's irresponsible.
Yeah, she also said Mitch McConnell and Sessions, they can't say gay nightclub. They can only say nightclub. So I went back and I looked for Mitch McConnell.
What does that mean?
She said because they're so homophobic that it's so they don't wrap their arms around same-sex marriage that they won't even say gay nightclub as opposed to a nightclub.
And if they said gay nightclub, then why does it have to be a gay nightclub? Why can't it just be a nightclub? You can't win with the left because they're indecent. And I'm sorry to say that your pastor's reckless remarks from the pulpit is no different than the reckless remarks from an Elizabeth Warren or Chris Murphy or Josh Ernst.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, they're introducing a new gun control measure. Susan Collins of Maine will explain what it is and if it has a chance to ever hit the president's desk. Today, mostly cloudy. We have a nasty thunderstorm rolling our way. It should be here around 8 o'clock this morning. And it's going to be cloudy and pretty yucky all day, a high of 77 degrees. Let's get those travel times. Pretty much really the calm before the storm. Here's Jim Telemonte.
It is, Amy, though there is some precipitation now moving into the far western suburbs and also well to the south and southwest. And there are big problems on the Stevenson Expressway, not due to weather, but there's police activity. Initially reported as a crash outbound before Harlem. Traffic is at a standstill from Pulaski to that point before Harlem where 2 right lanes are blocked. 55 minutes is the travel time from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound 45 with heavy delays now. Next to Gapers from LaGrange Road to past Harlem, it's also heavy State to King Drive. Eden's fine, Kennedy as well. Inbound Eisenhower, slow Manheim to First. 34 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both already with 10-minute delays approaching the Ryan. No delays to report on the tollways or in northwest Indiana. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
After returning home, many of our nation's veterans suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder or other issues that can be barriers to stable employment. Some even end up homeless. A Safe Haven is a social enterprise and shelter that has helped to restore the lives of thousands of American heroes. They do it by offering drug and alcohol rehabilitation, education at the high school and college level, job training and employment. So by the time the veteran leaves the facility, they'll never need to accept charity or government assistance again. Join Commissioner Dan Patlack and Team Patlack Republicans as they run and walk in the 6th Annual 5K Run, hosted by a Safe Haven to end homelessness for veterans. The race is on Sunday morning, July 10th at 8:30 a.m. in Chicago's historic Douglas Park. Register at TeamPatlackRepublicans.com. That's TeamPatlackRepublicans.com to help Dan and his crew be the largest team raising the most money for veterans in need. Don't forget, register online as a team, as Team Patlack Republicans.
When elderly family require care, you insist on local medical professionals with specialized training in home service and nursing. Alliance Home Service is a leading family alternative to nursing home and institutional care. It's critical to ask the right questions when matching a caregiver to your loved one to maintain the most positive lifestyle for your entire family. Alliance Home Service is among a select group of Chicagoland companies providing in-home non-medical care such as hygiene, medication reminders, activities and companionship, and medical care. All caregivers have the highest level of training and expertise. You'll experience the cost efficiency of in-home care as well as the level of caring you expect from family. Call founder and registered nurse Linda Weiler at 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com for no obligation family care consultation. Alliance Home Service, our family caring for your family. That's 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com.
I have some fantastic home mortgage news today. It's actually getting easier to obtain a home mortgage, and Townstone Financial can help you get it done. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Whether you're shopping for your first home or looking for a dream house, I want you to know that since 2002, Townstone Financial has been making the home mortgage process seem like a day at the beach. You have my word for it, and I own the company, that choosing Townstone as your trusted mortgage advisor not only means your loan will close on time, but it will be painless. Today is one of the best times to purchase a home in almost 7 years. Interest rates are still near historical lows, close, and you definitely don't need a large down payment or perfect credit. It doesn't matter if you're searching for a jumbo mortgage, FHA, VA, or even a reverse mortgage. I guarantee nobody's going to beat Townstone's interest rates and low closing costs. So give us a call now at 312-896-2111 because nobody values your home purchase business more than Townstone. That's 312-896-2111 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about the left. By the way, I got a text. It's like the right when they say Obama's a Muslim. That's what Elizabeth Warren and Chris Murphy and Josh Ernst are doing. No, it's not. It's not at all like that because that's a very small fraction of people who say that, and it's routinely denounced by conservatives like me who accept that when Obama says he's a Christian, that he's a Christian. So it's not a fair analogy. It is incorrect, and there is no defense to what Warren, Murphy, and Josh Ernst have said and continue to say, and the rationalizations from the left are pathetic. Pathetic. Simpleton or vicious, indecent left-wing ideologue, you choose. Mike on the north side.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I'm not sure anywhere it says in their charter that the NRA wants to kill innocent people. The Democrats want to kill innocent people every day, and since Roe versus Wade, they've killed 36 million of them. So if they want to talk about who the murderers are, tell them to look in the window. And for any of these so-called Christians that claim to be in favor of abortion, would Jesus, if he were alive today, be in favor of killing innocent children?
Thanks for the call, Mike. And that's a perfect segue to offer your Jesus sticker.
Yeah, my bumper sticker that I saw, not my bumper sticker, driving down Arlington Heights Road, guy in front of me, Jesus would be alive today had he owned a gun. And then there was a picture of a 9mm. Come on, God had different plans for Jesus.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders, as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing, independently-owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank. Not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed. Because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story.
Hillary
Learn more
Clinton's
about
only
turning
right
your
about
business
one
vision
thing.
into
I
reality.
understand debt
Visit
and how to handle it. I made a fortune with debt. But debt for this country is a disaster, and Obama has piled it on, and she's been there watching.
My name is Roosevelt. I always thought that cigarette smoking just messed up your lungs. I never thought
just
that
like
at
he
only
shouldn't
45
have
would give me
his
a heart
finger
attack.
on the button,
And I
he
never
shouldn't
thought
have
that
his
would change my life
hands
forever.
on our economy.
My tip is, do your heart a favor.
Trump ties
and
are
quit
made in
now.
China.
Heart attack
Trump
risk
suits
drops as
in
soon as you
Mexico.
quit.
And I'd love for him to
1-800-QUIT-NOW
explain
for
how
help
all that
getting free
fits with
medication,
his talk
if
about
available and
America
eligible.
first.
That's
He calls
1-800
himself the
quit
king
now.
of
A
debt.
message from the Centers for Disease Control
And his
and
tax
Prevention.
plan
You're
sure
unique,
lives up
so why is your
to
mattress
that
one
name.
size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/try now and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/try now.
Omar had mentioned
Severe
to me that
weather
he had
on the
seen
way. The
videos
full
of Uncle
forecast
Leaky,
after
which
Fox News,
threw a red
WIND,
flag for me,
Chicago News
and
Time.
I asked him what he thought about
Fox
it, and he
News
told me they were
Radio.
very
I'm
powerful,
Dave
which
Anthony.
raised
The
the
day
flag
after
even more
Hillary
for me.
Clinton took shots at Donald
think
Trump, he's
Donald
ready
Trump
to attack back.
Her record
has
is a
said he's
disaster.
qualified to be
Fox's John
president
Decker is live at the
because
White
of his
House.
business
Jobs
record.
and the economy are the top issues for
A few days
most
ago, he
voters.
said, and
Hillary
I
Clinton
quote,
went after Donald Trump
I'm
as
going to do for the
unfit to
country
manage
what
the
I did
US
for my
economy.
business.
We cannot put
So
a
let's
person
take
like this
a look
with
at what he
all
did
his
for his
empty
business.
promises in
He's
a
written a lot of
position
books about
power
business.
over
They all
our
seem to
lives.
end
Today,
at
in a
chapter
speech
11.
in Raleigh, North Carolina, Clinton will lay out her plan for growing
is
the
a
economy. It's a
common-sense,
plan that goes after
bipartisan
Wall Street and will likely
Senator
increase
Cornyn put
taxes
forward
on
a
wealthy
serious
Americans.
proposal designed
Trump
to
today
prevent
will offer his
known
own
or
prescription
suspected
for the
terrorists
U.S.
from being able
economy.
to buy
In a
guns.
tweet, he called Clinton's
And
plan
Democrats
a
voted against
disaster,
it.
arguing that her
Now, does that mean
immigration
Democrats have
policies will
decided to
drive
sell
down
weapons
wages
to
for
ISIL?
all
Of course
Americans.
not.
Dave?
John, a bipartisan group of senators have come up with a plan, a
This
new
is the
gun
very
control
textbook
alternative
definition
that
of
may get a
cowardice.
vote this
To
week.
talk tough
The amendment would prohibit thousands
in the hopes
of
that nobody's
Americans
going to
who
actually
appear
ask
on
you
the
to do
no-fly
something.
list to require additional airport security from buying a gun. Those who believe they're on that list erroneously can challenge in court.
That's Fox's Jared Halper. North Korea has done it again, test-firing 2 missiles, though one failed at launch. The U.S. has condemned it. 2 wildfires keep burning near Los Angeles, though firefighters have stopped the progress.
Helicopters with their water drops to stop the threat of the fire as it moves in on homes. Still, Fire Command warns
You
this
had a
one
relationship
won't be
with
snuffed
Omar
out
Matin.
just through the air.
Yes.
For now, hand crews cut through rugged
have a
brush while
relationship
engine
with
companies
Omar.
stand by, protecting hundreds of homes that have already been evacuated.
That's Ed Lascos with Fox 11 TV in Duarte.
You had a relationship
They'll be the
with
encore.
Omar Matin.
Closing arguments
Yes.
at Led Zeppelin's trial
I have a relationship with Omar.
to determine
Did
if
you have
Stairway
sex
to
with
Heaven is a ripoff
Yes,
of
I
this
do.
song.
Did you have a long relationship with
That's Spirit's Taurus from
And I
1968. The
consider
songwriter's
that
estate
longer
Oh,
is
because
suing
there
Zeppelin.
was only
Fox News Radio.
2 months.
Fair and balanced.
We was like they call it
Cloudy
friends with
skies, so we have 71 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Hours are counting
Did you ever
down to the
detect
deadline when
any
Dennis
kind of
Hastert must
violence,
report to prison to
actions
serve a
from him or
15-month
attitudes from him?
sentence.
No, I don't.
Federal judge
I
in
never
Chicago
detect
ordering the former
anything.
U.S. House
He was
Speaker to
a
report
very
to a
sweet
Rochester,
guy,
Minnesota federal
very,
health facility prison by no later than
cowardly.
2
He
p.m.
loved to be
Thomas
cowardly.
Durkin
That's-
sentenced the 74-year-old
one of the
Republican
things
back in April.
I started
Will
to
County
get
Sheriff's
see
Office
from him,
investigating the death of a
looking
17-month-old
rough,
found in a
looking
Homer
to
Glen
be
pool.
embraced.
David Garcia Jr. was discovered unresponsive Sunday evening and
Did
was
he ever
then
talk
taken
about
to the
his
hospital
religion?
where later
Yes,
he
I
was
asked
pronounced
him
dead.
about his religion.
Boeing
what did
has
he say?
confirmed signing an
I
agreement
asked
with
him about
Iran
the
Air,
Muslim religion,
expressing
and he said
the airline's
Muslim
intent to buy
religion
its aircraft.
It's a
The
beautiful,
Associated Press says the
spiritual
Chicago-based
religion.
aircraft
They will-
Giant
it's
says
a
it
religion
signed
where
the agreement under
everything is about
authorization
love.
from the U.S. U.S. government.
Religion is like
Chicago is sending the feds a new plan to reduce plane noise at O'Hare. The Department of Aviation handing over its Fly Quiet Runway rotation plan to the FAA for approval.
Yes.
It's designed as a 6-month test. Could begin as soon as July. It involves rotating nighttime arrivals and departure runways each week, giving neighboring communities a break from the noise. If the FAA approves that plan, it will be the first of its kind.
Asking about, what I'm looking
Chicago sports, St. Louis over the Cubs 4-3. White Sox beat Boston 3-1. Chris Sale, the first to 12 wins in the bigs. WNBA, Sky winners over San Antonio. On the pitch, Argentina routs Team USA in the Copa America semifinal. There's a big soccer match here in Chicago tonight as Colombia takes on Chile in the Copa America. The news service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich. Built just the way you want it. Egg whites and cheese, maybe with tomato or fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Add Black Forest ham, veggies, steak, even jalapenos. Subway sandwich shop. Fresh is what we do. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
What is this nonsense?
The Joe Walsh Show.
Time magazine had uncovered a question. Why did 49 people die? Why? Are you serious? 49 innocent people lost their lives in Orlando because a Muslim terrorist killed them.
Thought about them, and he told me they were very powerful, which raised the flag even more for me.
Media.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
That's negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage process on your own and completely online.
Copy that, QL1, but if I wanted to speak to someone, do you think they're out there?
They're out there, all right. I've made contact before. In fact, according to J.D. Power, they've provided award-winning client service for 6 years in a row.
Roger that, QL1. It's nice to know they're out there, wherever they are.
Detroit Control. They're in Detroit. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
6:05 color weather radar showing a massive blob of rain and heavy storms rolling into the Midwest, specifically into the Chicago area, impacting your ride to work, probably, in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center with the details. Here's Jim.
That's right, Mike. It is raining in parts of Aurora, also in areas to the south, especially Kankakee County, and it's coming to affect all of us this morning. There was some earlier police activity on the outbound Stevenson near Harlem Avenue. It's clear now, but the delays remain, especially outbound. You've got a travel time from Lakeshore Drive to 355 of about 50 minutes, and on the inbound side, delays start before LaGrange Road. 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Edens is still clear. The Kennedy just a little heavy coming out of the River Road toll. Eisenhower, stop and go Wolf to First Avenue. 40 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound at 31. Bryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 25 minutes from I-80 to the merge. Traffic is a service of Burger King's Grilled Dogs. Where are you going to get a delicious grilled hot dog? Your backyard? Nope. Burger King. Burger King grilled dogs made with 100% beef and flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Flash flood watch in effect from 10 a.m. this morning through late tonight. We'll have a couple of thunderstorms today, which could be severe mainly late in the day with a high 77. Then a few thunderstorms around for the evening. Again, some may be severe, low of 64. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 69 at O'Hare, 73 along the lakefront. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Using the term radical Islamic extremism is not a counterterrorism strategy. It is a political talking point, plain and simple.
I think Donald Trump has said he's qualified to be president because of his business record. He's written a lot of books about business, They all seem to end at Chapter 11.
All of the money she's raising, that's blood money. That's blood money. Look, she's getting tremendous amounts of money from Wall Street. She's going to take care of Wall Street. She's getting tremendous amounts of money from lots of people. She's going to take care of all those people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Did you see that Gustafer 2.0, the Romanian hacker, like Gustafer, he claims to be from Romania, like the original Gustafer 1.0, big document dump of DNC opposition research on Hillary Clinton. This from Smoking Gun, distributing 250 files totaling thousands of pages of records that appear to have been prepared by Democrat National Committee research staff. Oh. And it details all kinds of things, including Hillary's speaking fee regimen and protocol. And here's something that's very interesting. Oh, this from the Smoking Gun. And it really has been picked up by very many people. I don't know why. I hope the Trump campaign picks it up. Talks about all that was required to have Hillary Clinton come speak at your event or before your organization.
Oh, we got the inside scoop?
Well, I mean,
I heard that they hacked into the Clinton Foundation emails. And
well, they have also compromised the Clinton Foundation,
yes.
Apparently. But
what about this juicy email? Tell me.
Along with Clinton's tax returns, personal financial disclosures, U.S. Senate travel records, the DNC dossier includes copies of contract documents related to the presidential candidate's paid speeches, reports Smoking Gun. In addition to, the $225,000 fee, requiring a chartered round-trip private jet that needed to be a Gulfstream 450 or larger, which seats, up to 19 people, can sleep 6. Presidential suite, 3 adjoining or contiguous rooms for her aides, 2 extra rooms for advanced staff, and so on and so forth. There's this. Additionally, the host also had to pay a flat fee of $1,000.
For what?
For a stenographer to create an immediate transcript of Secretary Clinton's remarks. To create an immediate transcript of Secretary Clinton's remarks.
Oh,
so
the transcript, the papers, the transcripts she hasn't provided yet?
The transcripts of all those Wall Street speeches, the transcripts of the speeches that she gave to the big banks, where, in her words, she told the big banks to stop your mortgage shenanigans, you're ruining the economy. There's somebody who has a real grasp on the situation. So we know the transcripts exist, and we know she hasn't released them, and why not? Because what we also can assume to be true, rebuttable presumption, is that how she characterized her speeches to the Wall Street banks is very different than the actual content of those speeches, and it was her sidling up to the big banks, not wagging her finger at them, and the Trump campaign should zero in on this, because those speeches coming out and highlighting Hillary Clinton's lying again in this area, I think would be very politically advantageous to Trump, very politically damaging to Hillary, particularly with respect to depressing Bernie crossover vote from Bernie to Hillary. I think this is important.
I mean, Trump's just hours away from unleashing this new attack on Hillary Clinton. I mean, this time it's going to be in New York, and it's going to focus on corruption. And sources were telling CNN that he's going to try and retake control of the political narrative and highlight her pay for play, Dan, her corruption while as Secretary of State, and attack her, of course, on the use of her private server and her email. And that report you mentioned couldn't come at a better time.
Well, and he started that yesterday with an interview to CBS Morning News with Norah O'Donnell that I guess will be played in its entirety this morning, talking about Hillary Clinton's blood money in response to the question about the relative disparity in cash on hand between his campaign and her campaign.
But again, I don't want to devote the rest of my life to raising money from people. And, when she raises this money, every time she raises money, she's making deals. They're saying, could I be the ambassador to this? Could I do that? Make sure my business is taken care of. I mean, give me a break. All of the money she's raising, that's blood money. That's blood money. Look, she's getting tremendous amounts of money from Wall Street. She's going to take care of Wall Street. She's getting tremendous amounts of money from lots of people. She's going to take care of all those people.
Let's go to Tony in Downers Grove. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, it's amazing how you can pick up on this very easily, and so could the rest of us common folk. But the media won't cover it. And when you say you hope Trump's campaign pounces on it, they really, they need to pounce on it and get front and center and consistently put this in front of people. I just don't understand why they don't.
Well, they're going to today in a few hours.
Thanks for the call, Tony. No, well, let's hope so. It's one thing to do the pay-to-play line of argumentation, which you heard Trump give a little preview of there, and what he does today. But that really should be included. Her disingenuousness with respect to those speeches and, the stratospheric fees that she was charging, and how that all connects back to the Clinton Foundation, and how it can potentially connect back to the FBI investigation into the Clinton Foundation, because remember, it's a two-pronged investigation the FBI is allegedly doing, the emails, but also the Clinton Foundation. This is powerful stuff. And let's see in black and white what she said for the $225,000, $250,000, $300,000 speeches she was giving before the Goldman Sachses of the world. I think it would be fascinating reading. It would be much better than her boilerplate blather in Ohio yesterday, where she pretends to talk about economics, but it was really just essentially an oppo dump on Trump. That's what her speech was yesterday.
And she had a bunch of zingers in there. Can we play a few of the zingers? You probably won't laugh, though. But here's one. Are you ready?
Just like he shouldn't have his finger on the button, he shouldn't have his hands on our economy.
I don't know what that means. It's so lame.
I'm just saying that he's unfit to lead. It's the same scenario we've heard of again and again, and we're going to hear it for the next 5 months.
But by the way, for all the people that say, the economy, and Gene Sperling was on MSNBC, one of her economic advisors, talking about the need to protect the middle-income families. Who's been in the White House for the last 7 years? This dance she's doing where she's Obama's third term, but she wants to create the appearance of separation from Obama and his record. Janet Yellen yesterday, Fed Reserve Chairman, saying the only reason unemployment was reduced in May is because people stopped looking for work. Wow. So that's not exactly good news. So the maintaining artificially low interest rates as a way to prime the pump to kind of keep the economy, the stock market, particularly on a sugar high. That's not good news either. That's not a good leading indicator. So why do they have to make these material changes if President Obama's policies that she would be an extension of have been so successful? Gene Sperling, by the way, also on MSNBC, they put the question to him, and I give credit. MSNBC, Matthews did it to Hillary, and now, one of their fungible newsreaders did it to Gene Sperling. Can you tell us the difference between a Democrat and a socialist?
Oh, really?
So, Gene, help her out. What's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist?
Look, I'm not here to do general definitions, but I believe that the kind of progressive Democrat that she is one that understands that we are, of course, a market economy, that we, of course, rely on job creation, small business, entrepreneurship here, but believes that we as a country have a responsibility in the face of strong economic change to make sure that we are shaping that change so that it is not hollowing out the middle class.
Yeah, this is great. We believe in a market economy, but we have to shape it. That means direct it. That means control it. That means a government-centric society, which is what they really believe. And the reason they can't distinguish between a Democrat and a socialist, as I've said before, because in the modern context in the 21st century,
they're one of the same.
A socialist is just a Democrat in a hurry.
Okay.
To borrow from Lenin's famous formulation about a communist just being a socialist in a hurry. That's what it is. By the way, there's an excellent piece by James Freeman, who's an assistant editor of the Wall Street Journal's editorial page, in today's edition. You worry about the authoritarian Donald Trump. This is the line of argumentation. And I think, Trump is, cult of personality types are concerning for me. But in terms of Clinton, Trump, Obama, and the abuse of power, who should you be most concerned about in terms of authoritarian tendencies? Mr. Freeman in the Wall Street Journal makes pretty good case that Trump is at the bottom of that list, not the top. He writes that Americans don't have to imagine abuses of the Obama administration. Mr. Obama falsely claimed the power to determine when Congress is in recess. He asserted the ability to waive immigration law for millions. Does using the IRS against philosophical opponents count as authoritarian? Mr. Trump has made inappropriate or mean-spirited remarks about all kinds of people, but does this mean he's marching the U.S. towards Nuremberg? For the pundits who claim to worry, let's hunt for similarities between Trump and the dictator so much on the minds of media folk. And he turns his sights on Clinton. The facts suggest that Mrs. Clinton is more likely to abuse liberties than Mr. Trump. Only one candidate in this election cycle has run for president while refusing to cooperate with a federal investigation into her conduct in a previous office. Only one candidate is on record opposing the First Amendment's guarantee of free speech. Only one candidate condemns the Supreme Court for allowing a movie critical of her to be distributed and advertised. So perhaps if you're worried about authoritarian tendencies in the next president of the United States, you should worry more about Hillary Clinton being an extension of the current authoritarian-leaning occupant. Jordan in Forest Park.
Hey, Dan, I think you're right on focusing in, or Trump focusing in on the stenographer. And I think Trump, when he does his little speech, he'll say, hey, let's find the stenographer. And then have like a $50,000 reward for the person that can prove they were the stenographer. And then Hillary will have to talk about it immediately.
I like it.
And today, Trump's also, he's going to talk about her support for countries with poor human rights records, especially against women and gays.
Yeah, her support, not to mention the Clinton Foundation's funding from those countries.
Vast right-wing conspiracy.
Okay. Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Cloudy right now, and showers are moving into the area as we speak. Some could be severe and high winds accompanied with it. A high today of only 77 degrees. Then tonight, thunderstorms around, some severe, and otherwise it would be cloudy, 65. And tomorrow, we're going to have pretty much more of the same times of clouds, some sun, but a shower or thunderstorm in areas, a high of 75 degrees. Let's get those travel times. How's it going out there? Here's Jim Telemonte.
It's probably going to get worse soon, Amy, with the rain creeping into the area. We had some earlier police activity on the outbound Stevenson near Harlem. It's gone now. The travel times have actually come down a little bit. On the outbound side, it's about 42 minutes. Lakeshore Drive to 355. So central to Harlem and also approaching 294. Northbound, there's a crash at 355 in the left lane. And it's slow Harlem to Kedzie and State to Lakeshore Drive. 43 minutes, 355 to the drive. Eden's a little heavy inbound approaching the junction. The Kennedy slow coming out of the River Road Toll. 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower's 43 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 34. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State heavy at 290. The other tollways are still okay. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as a vice presidential running mate. And here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. So check this out. If you correctly guess Donald Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veep Stakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you could win $560 plus a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. There are two easy ways to enter. You can fire up the AM560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way, or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It's going to be huge.
Is your balance off due to a head injury? Is your head injury due to sports, auto accident, military service, a trip, slip, or fall? Get back on track. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison are conducting a clinical research study and are in need of participants who have difficulty with balance as a result of their head injury. If you're between the ages of 18 and 65, have experienced a mild or moderate head injury over 1 year ago, and now have difficulty with balance, you may qualify. Please visit headinjurytrial.com for more information and to find out if you qualify for this clinical research opportunity. Limited space is available, so please visit headinjurytrial.com or call 877-835-4139. Compensation of up to $2,000 is available for qualified participants. Visit headinjurytrial.com or call 877-835-4139.
When I hear realtors boast about servicing a 3-county area or selling a home every 15 minutes, I think, what level of service could their clients possibly be getting? This is Chris Jacobs with Century 21 affiliated in Inverness, and my message is a little bit different. If being a realtor for more than 20 years has taught me one thing, it's that all real estate is local. While I can't say I'm the #1 realtor in the country, I can tell you that over the past 10 years, I've sold more homes in Inverness than anyone else. My team specializes in Inverness, Palatine, and Arlington Heights. We pride ourselves on providing our clients exceptional customer service and local market knowledge. So if you're selling your home or looking to purchase a property in our area, then call me, Chris Jacobs, at 847-401-4859. That's 847-401-4859. Or visit us at chrisjacobshomes.com.
Each office independently owned and operated, an equal housing opportunity. After returning home, many of our nation's veterans suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder or other issues that can be barriers to stable employment. Some even end up homeless. A Safe Haven is a social enterprise and shelter that has helped to restore the lives of thousands of American heroes. They do it by offering drug and alcohol rehabilitation, education at the high school and college level, job training and employment. So by the time the veteran leaves the facility, they'll never need to accept charity or government assistance again. Join Commissioner Dan Patlack and Team Patlack Republicans as they run and walk in the 6th annual 5K run, hosted by a Safe Haven to end homelessness for veterans. The race is on Sunday morning, July 10th at 8:30 a.m. in Chicago's historic Douglas Park. Register at TeamPatlackRepublicans.com. That's TeamPatlackRepublicans.com to help Dan and his crew be the largest team raising the most money for veterans in need. Don't forget, register online as a team, as Team Patlack Republicans.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so more talk of this delegates must be allowed to vote their conscience to the delegates to the
Paul
Republican
Ryan
National
said over
Convention.
the weekend.
Paul Ryan, Scott Walker effectively echoed that. Here's what I think that is. I think this is some elites in the party and party leaders who are part of a bit of a movement that's afoot quietly to,
Where are we talking like
to dump Trump.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so the question is, but that's what they want to do, but they can't have their fingerprints on it because they know it'll fail. It has a remote chance anyway. But there is some organic support among delegates for doing this.
So they're still just throwing it out there, just letting them know it's okay.
Well, Mark Halperin from Bloomberg News, he characterizes this way.
The leaders of the party would prefer Trump not be the nominee, and they're willing to have a very messy convention if that can somehow happen. They don't want to be seen as leading the movement because they know it'll fail if it's seen as elites trying to take the nomination away from them. So they're hoping to sort of have behind the scenes orchestrate a little bit of grassroots organic support. Trump's right. This is being orchestrated, but there is some grassroots support among some delegates to say, we want to be able to vote our conscience. And when Paul Ryan said to Chuck Todd, people need to be able to vote their conscience. Members of Congress need to decide on their own. Yeah. Delegates do. It's a huge moment. Trump is right that there are people plotting against him.
But Trump is right that people are plotting against him. I think that's fairly clear. Here's the mistake that the elites make again. And it includes Scott Walker, who I like. I mean, frankly, I generally like Paul Ryan and think he's been pretty good as member of Congress. But they're making a huge political miscalculation by even efforting this. Because do you think that rank-and-file Republicans see rank-and-file delegates to the convention as the organic grassroots? Or do you think they see them as just another iteration of Party Insider? I will tell you that I think most people will see them as another iteration of Party Insider because they don't, most people don't participate in these conventions, in these delegate processes. Even on the Republican side, you have super delegates of sorts that are party poobahs.
Right.
The idea that we're going to kind of just have a light touch and just signal by saying vote your conscience, and that's the signal for the organic grassroots of delegates to rise up and call upon the party leadership to dump Trump and vote their conscience and dump Trump and install a different nominee.
Well,
and that'll be legitimately seen as some grassroots revolt. No chance.
But who are they going to vote for? Who's the candidate? I mean, because I know they had that meeting Sunday night, that conference call with 1,000 people, 250 of them were delegates. Who's their guy?
I don't know. I mean, the names like Tom Coburn, the former senator from Oklahoma, Ben Sass, the freshman senator from Nebraska. These are names that have been floated. There's no chance. The party leaders are wrong to do it. Delegates would be wrong to attempt it. It would be disastrous. You had an opportunity. You were asleep at the switch. You had a year. And Trump played by the rules as they were set. No matter how much he complained about them, the rules were the rules, and he won the nomination fair and square. It's really the end of the story. And I think in the next couple of weeks, Trump can make it the end of the story if he does what he's set to do today, which is focus on Hillary and start taking her down a couple of notches and even close the gap between him and Hillary more. And it's frankly not that wide, which is another problem the party elites have in terms of making this case against Trump. Scott on the West Side.
Oh, hey, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. Hi, Amy. It is time. Trump won the nomination. It's time for the Republican leadership to coalesce behind him and put their efforts into letting him know what the party platform needs to be and what they want done. And if they would let Trump know what they want done, he seems to be swishing every way the wind blows. They can get him to do what they want him to do. And this is what needs to happen.
Thanks for the call, Scott. It's a good point. Is that Trump is malleable enough that you should try and direct him accordingly rather than undermine him and just kind of make him more iconoclastic than he's otherwise inclined to be. I agree with that.
Believe me. Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
labeling ISIS, we'll discuss with Michael Rubin, former Pentagon official and scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. That's at 6:36.
And new information about the man who tried to kill Donald Trump. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 68 degrees. Tornadoes possible from Davenport, Iowa to Chicago, then up to Milwaukee this day. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, says storms are expected to come through the region beginning early this morning. Bigger storms forecast later in the day. Japan's defense ministry says today's launch of 2 ballistic missiles by North Korea demonstrates a certain level of capability. Donald Trump expected to fire back at Hillary Clinton yesterday. Clinton went after Trump in a speech, saying the likely GOP presidential nominee would throw the U.S. back into a recession.
He's giving more away to the 120,000 richest American families than he would to help 120 million hardworking Americans.
Senators on both sides of the aisle coming together to try and keep some guns out of the hands of possible terrorists. Florida Democratic Senator Bill Nelson says the new measure proposed overnight important to those impacted by the Orlando terror attack.
I owe it not only to those families of 49, but I owe it to those families of people still in the hospital, some of which may not make it.
The measure would stop a person from buying a gun if they're on the no-fly list or the list that requires additional security screening at airports. Search continues for the father and 3 teenage children whose sailboat has been missing off the Florida coast since Sunday. 2 California men are guilty of plotting to back ISIS. 2 25-year-olds from Anaheim were convicted of charges of conspiring to provide material support. Hours are counting down to the deadline when Dennis Hastert must report to prison to serve a 15-month sentence in Minnesota. And a Chicago police officer is being hailed as a hero for helping save a group of people and dogs from a Northwest Side house fire. It happened yesterday inside a home when the blaze quickly spread to another house in the 2700 block of North Campbell. That's when Chicago police say Officer Jennifer Jacobucci helped 4 people and 2 pets escape one of the burning buildings safely. A firefighter was hurt and a dog was killed in that fire. Chicago sports, St. Louis beat the Cubs while the White Sox top Boston 3-1. The news service of Burger King's grilled hot dogs. Where are you going to get a delicious grilled hot dog? Your backyard? Nope. Burger King. Burger King grilled hot dogs are made with 100% beef and flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled hot dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It finally feels like summertime in Chicago. The weather is warm, but the news, it's even hotter. So whether this will be the summer of Trump
Hillary is very weak. I think she's pathetic.
or the summer of Hillary,
The Republican nominee should never get near the White House.
one thing's for sure.
We're going to have a very contentious campaign.
The temperature will reach 560.
We need a tough tone in this country, folks.
AM 560.
She can't even handle her emails. How can she be president?
The answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Joyce called to lower her rate and pay her loan off in 27 years. I helped Joyce secure a 27-year fixed loan, saved her $45 a month, and paid all her closing costs. $45 a month might not sound like a lot, but Joyce will apply the savings to her new mortgage payment to pay her loan off in 25 years and save her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. I lowered Joyce's rate, payment, and saved her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. If you want to see if I can help you like I helped Joyce, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis. And it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice. And then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable. And I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
6:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has delays from Pratt to the Junction. 25 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, southbound 21. The Kennedy, 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown and outbound 32. The Eisenhower's a 50-minute drive, Thorndale to downtown. The stalled van just past Morgan near downtown, blocking a center lane. Outbound 39 minutes, post office to Thorndale. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40. Ryan, looking at 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. The northbound Tri-State has scattered delays, Southwest Highway to LaGrange Road. Plainfield Road to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Traffic is a service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it, like egg whites and cheese with tomato and fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize it with your choice of cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham or steak, even jalapenos. The Subway Sandwich Shop, fresh is what they do. traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cloudy, not as warm. Severe storms are possible, along with some flash flooding. A high near 77.
Awful persecution.
69 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with community. Dan and Amy continues.
It was an attack on all of
AM
us,
560.
on our common values of freedom and diversity.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly
Today
Financial
I ask
Services.
you to reach out
helping
to
you
friends in
secure
the
your
LGBT
financial future
community.
today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now, and make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So compare the rhetoric we heard from President Obama in the wake of the Orlando massacre, the Orlando terrorist attack.
Yeah, he never said Islamic extremists or jihadists.
Compare that along with what... Senators Elizabeth Warren and Chris Murphy and White House spokesman, the Dickensian name Josh Earnest, have said about Republicans opposing decorative gun legislation offered up by DIFI. That is the equivalent of Republicans selling weapons to ISIS. Think about those remarks from the left in this country, and then compare them to the remarks we heard from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the wake of the Orlando terrorist attack.
Too many people have remained silent in the face of this awful persecution. This week's shooting wasn't merely an attack on the LGBT community. It was an attack on all of us, on our common values of freedom and diversity and choice. Radical Islamist terror makes no distinction between shades of infidel. This week it was gays in Orlando. A few days before that it was Jews in Tel Aviv. Before that, it was music fans in Paris, travelers in Brussels, Yazidis in Iraq, community workers in San Bernardino, Christians and journalists in Syria. All of us are targets. We believe that all people are created in the image of God. ISIS, by contrast, believes that all people who aren't just like them deserve to die. We will not be terrified into submission. We will fight back, and we will triumph.
Wow.
I want him to be our president.
I want him to be our president.
I mean, seriously, that's a statement of moral clarity from a leader.
That's a real leader. Yes.
And that's somebody who faces the threat as president of a country that faces the threat of radical Islamic terror on a daily basis. I mean, just listen to Netanyahu's words and think about what you've heard from the Obama regime for the last week. The contrast could not be more stark. Well, for more on this, we're happy to be joined by our friend Michael Rubin. Of course, he's a former Pentagon official and a scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. Michael, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Dan.
By the way, I should also plug your book, Dancing with the Devil, The Perils of Engaging Rogue Regimes, Michael Rubin's book. So what about that? What your assessment, now that we've got more than a week's time to have let this breathe a little bit, your assessment of the response from the Obama administration to what happened in Orlando?
Well, Dan and Amy, it's one thing to refuse to say radical Islamism or to speak about the Islamic State as the motivating factor, and that's bad enough. But what really shocked me was the Department of Justice's first reaction, Loretta Lynch's first reaction, which was to edit the phone transcripts. And she gave some nonsense excuse saying, hey, if we included the parts about the Islamic State in the phone transcripts, it could re-traumatize the people who were shot or the families of those murdered. And I'm sorry, that's just absolutely bizarre. First of all, it's Orwellian. I mean, you're editing reality to fit the White House talking points. And second of all, I think what would most traumatize the people who were victimized by the Islamic State was the Islamic State, not some words as trigger warnings.
Yeah, there was a great political cartoon I saw, Paul Revere, the omitted are coming, the omitted are coming.
Yeah, no, I hadn't seen that, but that's brilliant. And the fact of the matter is this White House has become so insulated that they're unwilling to allow reality to intrude on their policy, and therefore they can never calibrate their policy to reality. It really is a situation we haven't been in before.
And it is kind of frightening if you think about it. Any time that it said Allah, they replaced it with God. I mean, I think we can handle Allah.
Oh, I think so, too. And the whole point of a transcript is that it should be free and accurate. But this is also part of the pattern. We had the White House, the State Department, for example, get caught editing, in hindsight, a transcript of one of its press conferences because the State Department didn't like what they said and they wanted to go down the memory hole. Fortunately, they were caught doing that. But the idea that you would edit a record is really troubling. And that, again, is just Orwellian.
Yesterday, before Congress Homeland Security Committee, Senate Homeland Security Committee, a young woman named Nadia Murad, she's a Yazidi woman who escaped enslavement and torture by ISIS. She's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize by the Iraqi government. She testified before Congress. She said this: "I'm not saying that ISIS represents Islam, but ISIS is using the term Islam to commit these crimes, and this needs to stop as an ideology first. Many people in the area, they had the choice to leave when ISIS came, but they were happy to join the Islamic State when they came. I delivered this message to Egypt and Kuwait because this is what's happening. It's been happening under the name of Islam, and ISIS has not been labeled an infidel group within Islam by any Muslim country." How important is that last piece of what she said, the fact that ISIS has not been labeled an infidel group within Islam by any Muslim country?
Well, I mean, the assistant special agent in charge of the FBI was also making the argument saying, hey, the Islamic State really doesn't represent Islam. But, it's not the job of the United States to determine what is and is not Islam. And with regard to other states doing this, and Islam is what its practitioners believe it to be. Now, going to the broader point, however, with regard to with regard to the Islamic State and Islam, I was talking to a prominent ambassador from one of the Arab states in the region, and he had no problem calling it a radical Islamist group. In fact, I would hope that these states wouldn't say that the Islamic State is anathema to Islam. And we need to recognize that this is a battle of interpretations within Islam. When Secretary of State John Kerry says the Islamic State is neither Islamic nor a state, well, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the caliph of the Islamic State, has a PhD in Islamic theology. I really don't know what Secretary of State John Kerry's credential is.
He was just trying to impersonate Voltaire about the Holy Roman Emperor. But anyway, go ahead.
Absolutely. Sorry, Amy.
No, so we have the Attorney General going down. She was in Orlando yesterday, and she met with victims, family members, and survivors. And she suggested that we fight terror with love.
I mean, it seems like
almost
Loretta Lynch would be better suited as a kindergarten teacher with rhetoric like that than dealing with the reality of what we face. I mean, you can say fight the Islamic State with love, but the whole point about radicalism is that they're willing to impose through force of a gun. They don't care what people say, and if you're just fighting them with love, all the easier to slaughter everyone in sight.
And we already had President Obama and Biden meet with the victims' families, members, and the survivors. But for the top attorney of the country to go down there and, it was just bizarre. Have you seen this before?
Well, I mean, I had seen that statement, but, I mean, what's next? President Obama deciding to invite Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi to the White House for a beer in a teachable moment?
How about a poetry reading? They could go over, Robert Burns's "My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose."
Well,
do you think that would be a breakthrough?
Countering Violent Extremism Summit, I was talking to another Arab delegation. They were mocking the fact that the White House made them sit through a session talking about how water paint therapy and belly dance therapy could solve radical Islam.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
there's only more jobs for ISIS members. Remember when Obama said that?
Terrorist program. We need to launch that. Honestly, it's you laugh to keep from crying with this regime. Michael Rubin, scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, the book, Dancing with the Devil, The Perils of Engaging Rogue Regimes. Michael, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, the nasty stuff is coming. Just wait for it. Cloudy right now. Did have a nice sunrise, but that's going to be the sun you're not going to see today. We're going to have severe thunderstorms with some high, possibly damaging winds throughout the day, a high of 77 degrees. Tonight, some thunderstorms around. And then tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm in place, a high near 75 degrees. Let's get those travel times. What's it like on the roadways, Jim?
It's getting heavier, Amy. Good morning. 8094 westbound. Stop and go Calumet Avenue to before the state line. There's a crash there on the right shoulder. Eden's inbound. Delays start at Oakton. 30 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, 31 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33. The Eisenhower is now a 55-minute drive. Thorndale to downtown. A stall near Morgan has cleared. Outbound, it's 44 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 48. Ryan is 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow in pockets, Southwest Highway to LaGrange Road, Plainfield Road to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
I'm Val Diorin for Lou Dobbs. Tomorrow's Brexit vote could hold the key on interest rates, and Starbucks being sued for underfilling its signature lattes. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually see them. Free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993 or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
Fed Chair Janet Yellen told the Senate Banking Committee Tuesday that Great Britain's balloting tomorrow on whether or not to leave the European Union could have big fallout on our economic outlook, including any possible interest rate hikes. A hedge fund manager who just last week was arrested on insider trading charges apparently left a note declaring his innocence before taking his own life. His body was found in his home in Brooklyn Heights. Fiat Chrysler plans to stop producing vehicles in North America which contain the controversial Takata airbag inflators. Those inflators are subject to worldwide recalls and lawsuits. And a San Francisco federal judge has green-lighted that lawsuit accusing Starbucks of systematically underfilling lattes. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. Listen to this special offer from my friends at Low T Center. In honor of Men's Health Awareness Month, Low T Center is offering a $25 testosterone test. You'll know your results within 20 minutes for just $25. If you've been wondering what your number is or been putting it off, now is the time to do it. Only $25 with or without insurance. Low T Center is offering this $25 test this week only through Thursday, June 23rd, exclusively to AM 560 listeners, so be sure to call now to secure your appointment. If you've noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. So in honor of Men's Health Awareness Month, take advantage of this special $25 offer from Low T Center, but you must call by Thursday, June 23rd. Make your health a priority in honor of Men's Health Awareness Month. Call Low T Center now, 630-409-4305. That number again, 630-409-4305. Again, 630-409-4305 is the number. And tell them Dan Proft sent you, or go to lowtcenter.com.
I'm on a mission to provide home ownership to fellow veterans. My name is Jack Amberg, a 26-year veteran of the U.S. Army. I work at the Federal Savings Bank, a veteran-owned and operated bank, and I am certified to provide VA mortgages in all 50 states. It is my passion to guide you through the home buying process, structure your loan to fit your financial personality, and provide the best combination of rate and fees to accomplish the mission you give me. At the Federal Savings Bank, we control the process from start to finish as we underwrite the loans ourselves. If you're a realtor, I welcome the opportunity to help you grow your VA business. If you're a veteran, I speak your language, so let me explain all of your benefits. Whether you're a realtor or a veteran, call me, Jack Amberg, your VA guy, at 630-995-5244. That's 630-995-5244. 5244.
Terms and conditions may vary, subject to underwriting approval. Banker NMLS number 698289. The Federal Savings Bank is an equal housing lender and member of FDIC. NMLS number 411500.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
I still find it rather remarkable how underreported the Trump assassination attempt story is.
I know. And then when you talk to people out on, at the gym or, school yesterday, and no one cares, like, yeah, so what? I said, the guy trained. He went to a shooting range the day before to learn how to shoot for the first time.
This 19-year-old that was appeared in federal court in Las Vegas yesterday, 2 days after being arrested for trying to grab a Las Vegas police officer's gun with the intent to assassinate Donald Trump at a rally at the Treasure Island Casino in Las Vegas. His ID was a United Kingdom driver's license, and guess what?
What?
In his arraignment, it was revealed that he had overstayed his visa. He's here illegally.
Oh, that's why he wanted to kill Trump before Trump became president and kicked him out, right? So now there's a motive?
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't know what his motive was, but the idea that he was here illegally, doesn't that speak to the problem of persons here illegally in this country, not just from Mexico, but
Right.
people that 40% of illegal immigration comes to the airports, people that are here on overstayed visas, and now you have somebody that tried to assassinate a leading contender for president of the United States, and that story is being underreported, and this development in the story, what we now know about the would-be assassin, is being underreported. I mean, it's rather remarkable. Oh, by the way, a report that was issued from FAIR, which is an anti-immigration organization, but they obtained the numbers through FOIA requests, released criminal illegal aliens committed nearly 10 times more crimes than the Obama administration reported to Congress. In 2014, they committed 13,288 crimes above and beyond the numbers that were provided by the administration to Congress. And you wonder why Trump, and you wonder why exasperation with the political ruling elites of both parties.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Is your balance off due to a head injury? Is your head injury due to sports, auto accident, military service, a trip, slip, or fall? Get back on track. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison are conducting a clinical research study and are in need of participants who have difficulty with balance as a result of their head injury. If you're between the ages of 18 and 65, have experienced a mild or moderate head injury over 1 year ago, and now have difficulty with balance, you may qualify. Please visit headinjurytrial.com for more information and to find out if you qualify for this clinical research opportunity. Limited space is available, so please visit headinjurytrial.com or call 877-835-4139. Compensation of up to $2,000 is available for qualified participants. Visit headinjurytrial.com or call 877-835-4139.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Have you been getting the runaround on a mortgage modification application? Underwater with your mortgage? Well, you'd be not alone. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of other people in the same boat with you. My name is Lou Bridges. My partner Scott and Owen and I put together a law firm. One of the things we do is help people with modifications, only we don't just submit an application. Through proprietary software that we have access to, we determine what program or programs your loan is eligible for and what it would take to qualify you for those programs under the regulations. We work with our team of people, paralegals and clerks, and we put together everything, and then we submit the application for modification to the servicing bank. Only then we're not asking them, we're telling them this is the modification program our client has chosen from among those that we have confirmed they qualify for, their loan is eligible for under the regulations that you will give. And you must give because the net present value is far greater for the owner of the mortgage. So servicer, thank you for the modification. No more runarounds. Give us a call. We'll give you a free consultation.
224-513-1231.
My name is Roosevelt. I always thought that cigarette smoking just messed up your lungs. I never thought that at only 45 would give me a heart attack. And I never thought that it would change my life forever. My tip is, do your heart a favor and quit now.
Heart attack risk drops as soon as you quit. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW for help getting free medication, if available and eligible. That's 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Severe weather moving into the area, expected to hit Chicagoland this morning and again this afternoon. Under a cloudy day, WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He's still trying to win over conservatives. Donald Trump met yesterday with evangelicals, warning them about Hillary Clinton.
It's going to be an extension of Obama, but it's going to be worse.
And today, Trump will counterattack her speech that attacked his business background, saying he's not to be trusted with the economy. Fox's John Decker's live at the White House.
In her first general election economic speech, Hillary Clinton took aim at Donald Trump, casting the presumptive Republican nominee as a danger to the U.S. economy, which was in a recession when Barack Obama took office.
Trump would take us back to where we were before the crisis. He'd rig the economy for Wall Street again.
This morning, Trump will deliver a rebuttal to Clinton and discuss what he's called Clinton's failed policies and bad judgment. Recent polls show that voters believe Trump would handle the economy better than Clinton. Dave?
Well, John Clinton will detail her economic proposals later today after she meets with House Democrats this morning. Now, House Republicans are once again taking aim at Obamacare, the health care law they keep trying to repeal. Their alternative plan they'll unveil today would expand health savings accounts and use individual tax credits to help people pay for private coverage. The Coast Guard's out searching off Florida's Gulf Coast by air and in the water for a man and his 3 teenage children not heard from for a few days.
The 4 left Sarasota and ran into trouble on their way to Fort Myers for a sailboat repair Sunday. Less than halfway into the trip, we're told the father called his brother, said the boat hit some rough water, and those on board were trying to survive offshore near Inglewood.
That's Shayla Reeves with Fox 13 TV. One of the world's top golfers would rather avoid Zika than win gold. Rory McIlroy says he will not go to Rio for the Summer Olympics, saying the virus is a risk he's not willing to take. McIlroy had recently said he and his fiancée will consider starting a family in the next few years, and Zika is blamed for birth defects. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly cloudy, 71 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Severe weather expected to hit Chicagoland today. Power companies bracing. ComEd has crews on alert as the National Weather Service says showers and storms are expected to hit the city and the suburbs. A flash flood watch will be in effect for most of the day. Chicago City Council could vote on a pair of ordinances today that would place regulations on 2 online-based services. One measure would set certain guidelines for companies that provide ride-sharing like Uber and Lyft. The other piece of legislation would deal with home-sharing companies like Airbnb. An elderly woman is dead following a house fire in west suburban Bellwood. Officials say that blaze began earlier this morning inside a home in the 3300 block of Wilcox. Several were displaced. Investigators are still trying to find a cause. Members of the Chicago Teachers Union are expected to gather downtown this morning for a series of protests. CTU says educators will rally outside Chicago City Hall and elsewhere to demand more taxation for funding Chicago public schools. Hours are counting down to the deadline when Dennis Hastert must report to prison to serve at least 13 months of a 15-month sentence. Federal judge in Chicago ordered the former U.S. House Speaker to report to a Rochester, Minnesota prison by no later than Wednesday today at 2 p.m. Chicago's sending the feds a new plan to try and reduce plane noise at O'Hare. It's called the Fly Quiet Runway Rotation Plan. It needs FAA approval. It's designed as a 6-month test that could begin as soon as July. Cardinals over the Cubs 4-3. White Sox top Boston 3-1. Chris Sale the first to win 12 in the Bigs. The news, a service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it. Like egg whites and cheese, add tomato, maybe fresh spinach, on a toasted flatbread with cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham, maybe steak, even jalapenos. Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what we do. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Most of America is just straight up car stupid.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
You fleece your car, acting like when you rented your car, you did a good deal. Give me a break. And the stupid thing loses 60 to 70% of its value when you buy a new one in the first 4 years that you drive it. So you turn $30,000 into $11,000 and then scratch your head and wonder why you can't get ahead financially. This is not hard to think about, people.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
QL1, this is Control. Ground crew is secure. Over.
Copy that, Control. Rockets powering up. Over.
QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
Copy that, QL1. That is fast, like rocket fast. Do you think that's why they named it Rocket Mortgage? Over.
Affirmative, Control. That's probably why they named it Rocket Mortgage. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose.
Roger that, QL1. So technically speaking, you could get a Rocket Mortgage at rocket speed from inside an actual rocket?
Please just press the button, Control. Over.
Copy that, QL1.
3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket. Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
7:05. Let's get an update on that morning ride to work in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, it's stop and go from Oakton to the junction. 30 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. To Kennedy, now 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 13 in the Express. Outbound 20 minutes to Montrose and 38 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 38 from Manheim. Outbound 44 minutes to Thorndale. Northbound I-55 delays start at Weber, and it's 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go Cicero to 111th, crash in the left lane. Very slow 95th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway, Reagan Tollway, both light. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Flash flood watch in effect from 10 a.m. this morning through late tonight. Mainly cloudy today with a couple of thunderstorms. Could be severe mainly later in the day, bringing damaging wind gusts, even a tornado high 77. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Using the term radical Islamic extremism is not a counterterrorism strategy. It is a political talking point, plain and simple.
I think Donald Trump has said he's qualified to be president because of his business record. He's written a lot of books about business. They all seem to end at chapter 11.
All of the money she's raising, that's blood money. That's blood money. Look, she's getting tremendous amounts of money from Wall Street. She's going to take care of Wall Street. She's getting tremendous amounts of money from lots of people. She's going to take care of all those people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, we were one of the first to bring you this story and develop it. This is the story of CPS, Chicago Public School math teacher and chess team coach Joseph Okal, who works at Earl STEM Academy in the Inglewood neighborhood, rough neighborhood, high crime area, children from low-income homes. And he's done the unthinkable.
What's that?
He started a chess team at the school. This is recently, within the last year or 2 years, but very recent. And because he prioritized his students over the Chicago Teachers Union, he was expelled from the Teachers Union. He skipped the union's one-day show protest.
Oh, the day of action that they had. Yeah, that was April 1st.
The show strike on April 1st. He did so because he was coaching his chess team. So he didn't want to do the walk around the Thompson Center and with a sign about socialism or whatever and strike from his job. He just wanted to do his job. Well, he received a correspondence from via certified mail from Chicago Teachers Union Chief Executive Officer Karen Lewis, and that expelled him from the union. Now he wonders if he will continue to be employed by Earl STEM Academy and the Chicago Public School System.
And we should remind people that you and other of our listeners raised thousands of dollars to send this group, this chess team, to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to go to D.C. They were invited by Congressman Danny Davis. And so they needed to raise money to get there. And so thanks to generous AM 560 listeners, we raised a bunch of money, sent it over to Earl STEM Academy. And I know they did, because I've spoken with Joseph Okal. I know they did go on that trip to D.C., and we'll talk to him about it right now because we're joined by math teacher and chess coach at Earl STEM Academy, Joseph Okal. Joseph, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hi, good morning, Dan, and good morning to the listeners to your radio station. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for bringing me to your show this morning and giving me the opportunity to share with you the news.
Yeah, well, we're pleased to have you on again. And so why don't we start kind of with your current situation before we get to the chess team. So you're kicked out of the Chicago Teachers Union. Hooray. And now what happens, or what are you concerned may happen with respect to your continued employment at Earl STEM Academy?
Yeah, it's sad that I have been expelled. I'm just concerned about the kids, and I'm also concerned, of course, about my job and the future, where I really would like to be with the kids and continue with the program, especially at Inglewood, where there are a lot of challenges in Inglewood. So I'm praying that I'll still be able to surmount these challenges and be able to continue my advocacy for helping the kids.
Have you gotten
There's so much talent in Inglewood. There's so much talent. These are children of poverty, but many of them are very talented kids.
They need opportunities, and they need mentors like yourself. Have you gotten any indication from the principal or anybody in the administration about your status, your employment status at the school?
None yet, but I'm bracing for the worst scenario. but I'm getting I still continue to receive bullying. I would call it bullying tactics and dirty tricks from certain union bullies. I think they will never stop until they get rid of me from CPS.
Yeah, I'm sure they want you to resign, but since you've been expelled from the union, does your seniority, are you down to the bottom of the list then, and you possibly might not come back next year because of budget cuts?
I hope to come back, but I leave it. I leave it to God. To it really breaks my heart that if ever I would not be able to return, I hope to find another way where I can still continue my advocacy to help the kids.
I just want to go back to something, because this is incredible. I think most people listening to this are going to find this just unfathomable. You started a chess club to teach children in elementary school the game of chess, and you've turned these children from chess novices to on their way to being grandmasters. They've been very successful during your time as their coach after starting these teams. And the response from the union and perhaps some of your colleagues at the school is what you describe as bullying tactics. Can you help us understand why they don't appreciate what you're doing?
I think it's more about their loyalty to the union, and I see it in another way. I think I would like to say that I became a teacher. I joined CPS not to be a union member, but purposely to help the kids. I think that's my role. I mean, that's the role of a teacher, to be with the children. And last April 1st, when there was no other teacher, I decided to be with the kids, because the day before, the kids were asking me if and when I should be able to. I should come on April 1st because they will be coming. So I just could not think of a better reason than saying that, yes, if you come, and I will come. So that's when I decided to cross the picket line and be with them.
Are you concerned about your kids' safety over the summer because they don't have the safe haven of school? They don't have the after-school chess program that you provided for them?
Oh, I wish to thank you and Dan and everybody, all the donors, because we still have some money for the summer project. And we're coming up with this summer project for the kids. And actually, I've been getting a number of applications, kids coming to me. They said they want to start teach chess. I said, let's have a summer program. So we're having a summer program at Earl, hoping that I'll be around still. And we're going to have mentors among these kids. Mentoring is a good way, I would call it the least expensive way to master a skill. You teach the skill, you master the skill. And I plan to develop mentors among these children.
And so, just give us a little bit of the forward look for you. If you're relieved of your teaching job, would just going to be an incredible occurrence, what can you still do? Are you still desirous of continuing to at least coach chess there? Would they even allow you to do that? Would you have to continue the program kind of off school, off site? What's next for you? I know you need to be employed and work like anybody else, but you say you're planning for the worst case scenario. So what's that plan look like?
Oh, I still would like to be with the kids if I be given that opportunity. So, of course, I will have to apply for another job, but I would like to have a job where I can be more effective. Most effective is teaching them, and especially in math and in chess.
What experience? Your experience. What does this tell you about the Chicago Teachers Union and about how CPS is run?
I just feel that as the Chicago Teachers Union should not bring the kids in the middle of whatever fight they want to pursue. I think the kids should be the one to benefit. They should not be put in the middle. And that's a hard decision for any teacher, and whether or not it's about loyalty to the union or dedication to the kids. To me, dedication to the kids comes first over loyalty to the union.
And with respect to today's protest rally, whatever it is that the Chicago Teachers Union is doing and their members are doing downtown, will you be participating in that?
No, actually, we're excited to meet Mayor Emmanuel and the rest of the members of the City Council today. So kids are preparing because we will be honored by. We will be recognized by the City Council, so everybody's excited to be there.
All right, so they're going to be honored by the City Council today, and their chess
For
coach
their
and
accomplishments,
the team, right? The kids, it's great, and the chess coach and math teacher is facing expulsion from the system because he won't abide the union. No.
You need to bring that certified letter to Mayor Emanuel. Can you please do that for us?
No paradox there. All right, Joseph Okal, continue your great work as long as you're allowed to. I'm sure you're going to find an outlet for it, regardless of what happens at Earl STEM Elementary School, where you teach math and where you coach chess. Joseph, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
It's just so crazy.
That story is the Chicago Public School System and the CTU CEO in a nutshell. Everything you need to know about CPS is the Joseph Okal story.
And what you need to know is the weather, because there's some nasty stuff rolling in here within the next 2 hours. It could be treacherous, severe thunderstorms. I'm sure there's expecting delays at O'Hare and at Midway. And with it, some high, possibly damaging winds, a high of 77 degrees. Then tonight, some thunderstorms around. Some could be severe. And tomorrow, times with clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm in the area, a high of 75. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The inbound Kennedy now has delays all the way in from the airport. We're looking at 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 20 from Montrose, 15 on the Express. Outbound 21 minutes to Montrose and 40 to the airport. Eden's 30 minutes Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 22. The Eisenhower's 52 minutes Thorndale to downtown, outbound 54. Really jammed. Cicero to 25th. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, they have cleared up quickly. They're pretty much delay-free. But not the northbound Tri-State. It's bottled up from Cicero to 111th, crash on the left shoulder. Then 95th to 47th, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, northbound Veterans Memorial slope. The Boughton Toll to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Business owners, I want you to stop and think about the one part of your organization that you simply cannot live without. What comes to your mind? Your employees, your location, your customers? Well, how about your technology? Let's face it, everything rests on your network running smoothly and efficiently, and that's where Turnkey IT comes in. They understand the value of your network and the critical role it plays in your company. They'll keep your network up and running and resolve any problems, so you can focus on the important things. Turnkey IT's team of professionals will respond to you quickly. They won't roll their eyes when you ask them questions or try to dazzle you with confusing technical jargon. So this spring, Turnkey IT is offering a free security audit. Even if you have an IT guy, this free security audit will help you understand if they're keeping your data safe from viruses and hackers. So visit turnkey.pro today to schedule your free security audit and mention that Amy sent you. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro.
Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
Hey, if you're a real estate professional or considering a career in real estate, I have an exciting new opportunity for you. It's a unique revenue and profit sharing model which allows you to gain partnership equity and experience a quality of life unmatched in the industry. Hi, I'm Mark Whittington with Inspire Realty Partners, and we believe it's time real estate professionals had an opportunity to build equity ownership and earn higher commissions. After all, do you know a retired real estate agent? Imagine having ownership equity and working toward building a retirement income stream. Inspire Realty Partners is a rapidly expanding team of like-minded professionals with a mission to elevate the level of service and provide a better experience for buyers and sellers. Our special program servicing veterans, first responders, educators, and their families has created an extra demand for quality associate partners. If you're interested in learning how you can become inspired, visit our career-specific website, joininspire.com. Again, that's joininspire.com.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, this story should send chills through the spines of all white anchors and reporters out there. So listen up to this story and learn something. I don't know if you heard about this. There's an anchor in Pittsburgh. Her last name's Bell, and she's been there for 20 years, award-winning journalist, and she had covered a mass shooting at a backyard barbecue where 6 people died, including a pregnant woman. Okay, it was a vicious crime, and she took to Facebook to talk about the perpetrators. What did she write, Dan?
She wrote, you needn't be a criminal profiler to draw a mental sketch of the killers who broke so many hearts 2 weeks ago Wednesday. This is in reference to that shooting that left 6 dead and 4 injured. That you just mentioned. She went on, they are young black men, likely in their teens or in their early 20s. They have multiple siblings from multiple fathers, and their mothers work multiple jobs. These boys have been in the system before. They've grown up there. They know the police. They've been arrested.
Well, guess what happened to her?
She was fired after the station met with the Pittsburgh Black Media Federation. The station she works for, has ended its relationship with anchor Wendy Bell. Wendy's recent comments on the Facebook page were inconsistent with the company's ethics and journalistic standards. But now she, a mother of 5 herself, has filed a federal lawsuit claiming that if she were black, her Facebook post would not have been considered a fireable offense in the eyes of her employer.
That's true.
What do you
I
think?
mean, if she was African American, she'd be held as a hero for pretty much telling the truth. I mean, is by all accounts black on black crime. I mean, the survivors said the gunmen were black, but yet she got in trouble for stating the obvious. And I know she gave a little bit of an opinion piece on her Facebook post, which they always tell you to stay away from. But she was just saying, talking about the truth about what life is like and about who these perpetrators are and what we have to do to solve the problem. And she's been ridiculed. And guess the best part is, because, you know, revenge is a dish best served cold, is their ratings dropped. And I love that their ratings dropped by 25%.
Well,
that is awesome.
Let's understand something about what she wrote. When she wrote, you needn't be a criminal profiler to draw a mental sketch of the killers. They are young black men, likely in their teens or early 20s. Had the suspects been identified at the time, or is she guessing?
No, from an account that I had read in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette was that the survivors, the people that were at the barbecue, were helping police to identify the gunman that shot 10 plus rounds.
So they knew they had a description of the suspects with respect to this crime. So when she said they are young black men, likely in their teens, early 20s,
they weren't white dudes, right?
Yeah, but
The issue is she's going off information that witnesses or police provided. In other words, that's a
accurate statement.
That's a sketch of information that was provided by either eyewitnesses or police or some combination of the two.
Because she went to the scene and people are always like, I saw him. There's two black guys. She interviewed people that were at the barbecue.
Yeah,
that's what's so strange about this story.
So the point is that what she wrote is factual, or it's based on information she received from law enforcement and eyewitnesses about the men who were suspected of committing these 6 murders. So that's really important, because if that's the case, then she's just describing what is. She's not.
Right, but
this isn't really much of a commentary.
There's certain news directors. When I worked in Detroit, they told me flat out, they go, we all know that it's an African American, the perpetrator, so don't say they're African American. I'm like, okay. Fine. I swear to God, I did not say the truth because I was told not to.
So when police say, here's the description of the suspect, and you're to report, we'd like you to report it to help us locate the suspect, or anybody has information about the suspect, it is a human.
A man in his teens, and then you give the height and the weight and what they were wearing.
Man. Whoa. Human. We don't know. We don't know what gender that person is identifying as.
You know what? That's a good point. But then also you'd have to say dark complected or light complected.
No.
Whoa.
A human of an indeterminate age that that is suspected in this crime. Can somebody identify a human of an indeterminate age? If you have any information about a human of an indeterminate age, give us a call. I mean, this is how ridiculous it is.
But can't you say what they're wearing, or is that too much too?
Clothes or not? Oh, George and Monique, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys. It's amazing that truth now violates journalistic standards. Okay?
Well, finally they've admitted it.
Yeah, that's the best part. They have admitted it. If they're not going to tell you what actually happened, what's the point of telling you anything at all? Why don't you just sell baloney or something,
Thanks for the call,
The
George.
news media, they're there to inform and to help residents and to help police if some crazed gunman's on the loose.
So long as they do so in a politically correct fashion.
Yeah, that's right.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. So, your products have made my life, they have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor. Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Baran, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing are Joe's specialties. Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become full-service, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractors. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Baran. Call Joe Baran at Dependable Construction and AM 560 Feed the Children Business Benefactor. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. The number, 773-244-1091. Call Joe Baran at 773-244-1091 or visit tuckpointchicago.net. Call Dependable Construction, 773-244-1091.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Janet Yellen says the reason that unemployment dropped in May is because people stopped looking for work. How is what Hillary proposed yesterday going to address that? We'll talk to Steve Moore from the Heritage Foundation at 7:37 for the answer.
New breaking information about Omar Matin and his gay lover comes forward. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Cloudy and 71 degrees. Dangerous weather coming to the upper Midwest. Damaging winds, tornadoes, and large hail expected to cross the area today. In the Southwest, excessive heat warnings remain in effect across Arizona, Nevada, and Southern California. The Senate expected to pass a Republican-backed bill today that would expand the FBI's secret surveillance powers. The proposal is in response to the mass shootings at an Orlando nightclub. It would broaden the type of telephone and internet records the FBI could request from companies like Verizon without a warrant. Meantime, Arizona Senator Jeff Flake is among a bipartisan group of senators pushing for no-fly, no-buy to deny the ability of anyone on the government's no-fly list to buy a gun without additional screening.
What you see here is an effort not to have a vote that will simply allow each party to use a cudgel to beat the other party with, but rather to have something that will actually pass.
Flake was among several senators who spoke in favor of the Terrorist Firearms Prevention Act. Likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump plans to fire back at Democratic rival Hillary Clinton today. Trump tweeting he'll make a big speech to discuss the failed policies of crooked Hillary Clinton, end quote. Then Trump will take a break from the presidential campaign this week to visit his golf resorts in Scotland. The Coast Guard searching for a father and his 3 kids whose sailboat went missing off Florida's Gulf Coast. That boat was last seen Sunday morning. Chicago City Council could vote on a pair of ordinances today that would place regulations on 2 online-based services, Uber and Lyft, and Airbnb. An elderly woman is dead following a house fire in west suburban Bellwood. The blaze began early this morning inside a home in the 3300 block of Wilcox Street. Looking for a hobby this summer? Want to help feed the hungry? A national sandwich contest that's on right now is looking for a creative sandwich to make that possible. Former White House chef John Moeller is helping out.
Wheat is sponsoring again the America's Better Sandwich Contest. And out of that, for every entry and vote that comes in for this, Oral Wheat is going to be donating a loaf of bread to Feeding America.
If you'd like to enter the America's Better Sandwich Contest, go to americasbettersandwich.com through August 21st. You can look at Moeller's prize crab meat salad sandwich. He did serve under President George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush at the White House. Cardinals over the Cubs 4-3. White Sox over Boston 3-1. The news service of Burger King's grilled hot dogs. Where are you going to get a delicious grilled hot dog? Your backyard? No, Burger King. Burger King grilled hot dogs are made with 100% beef, flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled hot dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is looking for a united GOP to take on Hillary.
If Paul Ryan, if all these squishy, timid Republicans, the NRA, some fair-minded media types, if any of those factions would be in Donald Trump's corner, maybe he'd be up by 10 points right now. Who knows? Who knows? Democrats have no trouble uniting.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
I've always believed that the best conversations happen with a fine cigar in one hand and a mature libation in the other. Well, on Thursday, August 11th, Dennis Prager and I will be getting together for a cigar night. It's happening at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, and it's presented by Precision Payroll of America. Join us for an evening of cigar smoking, a good conversation. If you've seen any of the Against the Current interviews I've done at upstream-ideas.com, then you know what this event will look like. Tickets start at $29, and every ticket includes a cigar. Everyone who attends will have the chance to meet Dennis Prager and have him sign copies of his books. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Or text the word cigar to 64636. The event is sponsored by Signature Bank and the Elmhurst Cigar House.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
Hey, I'm Paul, the guy who used to ask if you could hear me now on Verizon. Not anymore. I switched to Sprint. Yeah, you heard that right. I switched to Sprint. It's 2016, folks, and every network is great. In fact, Sprint's reliability is now within 1% of Verizon's. 1%. But Sprint is saving you 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile rate plans. That's right, a great network, half the rate. I switched, and millions more have too. Can you hear that? Don't let a 1% difference cost you twice as much. Visit a Sprint store, sprint.com/network, or call 800-SPRINT1 today.
Reliability claim based on third-party drive test average savings until 5/31/18 after pay full amount subject to $30 activation fee, credit and valid port, and applies to Verizon plan 1, 3, 6, 12, 18, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 gigabytes. AT&T mobile share value 300 megabytes and 2, 5, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 gigabytes. T-Mo Simple Choice 2, 6, 10 gigabytes. Carrier features differ. Plans exclude unlimited music and video streaming, data carryover, tethering, and cloud options that other carrier plans may offer. See website for eligible plans. Limited time offer. Must choose from porting carrier rates. Offer coverage not everywhere or for all phones. Restrictions apply.
7:38 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, we're looking at delays starting around Devon. 30 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Kennedy is 45 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound, it's an hour. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go 115th to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Veterans Memorial slow. Powelton to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles, the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic is a service of Little Caesars, home of the large $5 hot and ready pizza. Little Caesars, home of the large $5 hot and ready pizza. No need to call ahead. They're always fresh out of the oven, ready when you are. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, not as warm, but severe storms crossing the area both this morning and later this afternoon. High 77. 71 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Automated Systems Incorporated. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. That sound means it's time to talk money with Heritage Foundation Senior Chief Economist Steve Moore. By the way, I sat down with Steve Moore for an upstream-ideas.com against the current interview that will be posted later today. So if you don't get enough of Steve Moore right now, you can get a good 40 minutes of Steve Moore by going to upstream-ideas.com. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan. You mean I'm going to be on TV?
Yeah.
Well, I just saw you.
Break.
I just saw you on TV on Fox News Channel this morning.
I was. Well, I was responding to Hillary's speech yesterday on the economy. I don't know if you guys watched it, but
I did.
You're a big fan.
She went on for 50 minutes or something like that. 45 minutes of it was attacking Trump, and about 5 minutes of it was her quote new ideas unquote, and I'm using my fingers to make quotation marks. And her new ideas, by the way, guys, brace yourself, hold yourself down here. We're going to raise the minimum wage. We're going to tax the rich, and we're going to have more shovel-ready infrastructure projects.
Yep.
Woo-hoo!
That is groundbreaking.
And my favorite from yesterday, she said he's not a sharp businessman, and Trump's books all end on Chapter 11.
Hi-yo.
It was an amazing speech. She attacked Trump. You're right on he doesn't on his business acumen. And she did have one good line in her speech, by the way, where she said he's written all these books and all of them start with Chapter 11. I thought that was a pretty good line. But you look at Hillary. One of her great lines in the speech was, we can't elect Donald Trump. He's going to run the national debt through the roof. I'm like, this is the woman who worked for the president, who's increased nearly doubled the national debt in 8 years and run it up to $19 trillion. And she's talking about Donald Trump increasing the debt. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, they're unbounded by their own hypocrisy. That's the signature of the left. But here's the thing about Hillary. It's interesting that she decided to go after Trump's record as a business person because she's losing right now, even with Trump's bad last 3 weeks. She's losing on the question of who do you trust more to essentially give a path to economic growth and opportunity in this country. Trump is leading that on that question. Yeah. And so I don't think she's ever going to kind of supplant him as the successful business person. But it seems to me what she's trying to do is just take him down a notch or two, just try and kind of dull that advantage a little bit.
That's exactly what she was trying to do. The problem for her, though, is very simple. Her agenda really is a total replay of the Obama agenda that he came in with 2009: run up the debt, increase government spending, tax the rich, increase the minimum wage. We've done all those things, folks. And as I said on Fox this morning, if you think that things are going well with the economy and we should have 4 more years of this, then no question about it. Hillary is your lady. She's your gal, and you should vote for her. But if you think we need some real change and a new direction, and by the way, the polls show about 2 out of 3 voters believe we need dramatic change because we're on the wrong track. Then I think Trump is going to win the vast majority of those voters. But it's interesting, her attacks on Trump's business acumen, because the only person who could attack someone for having bankruptcies is someone who's never started a business in their life, like Hillary and like Obama, who've never run a business. And I've run businesses, and I've started 3 businesses, and I hate to tell you, 2 of them went bankrupt. One of them was a success, and that's about the national average. About 2 out of 3 businesses fail. But you're never going to have a success if most people don't have successes until they fail in business. And even Steve Jobs, my goodness, the greatest entrepreneur of the last 100 years, had business failures.
Well, so just sticking on Hillary for a moment, it seems to me Trump needs to, whether in his remarks today or the next 4 months, including the debates, importantly, he needs to really kind of present this little 2-step that she's doing to the American public so it's not lost on them. That on the one hand, you defend everything President Obama has done, which has 2/3 of the country saying America's on the wrong track. And on the other hand, you're suggesting that we do the same things that he's done.
I think that's a great point. By the way, when you talk about the 1/3 who think things are on the right track, you know where they live? In Washington, D.C., because we're the one town that's actually booming under Obama and Hillary's policies. But the rest of the country, not so much. And, she devoted a lot of her speech to income inequality. That's the theme of the Democrats. We have to, punish the rich and give the money to the poor. And then there again, that's something Obama has done for 7.5 years. And the killer statistic for Obama is that, in fact, over those 7.5 years, income inequality has actually increased. The gap between the rich and poor has increased. The rich have actually done pretty well, Dan and Amy, under Obama. It's the middle class and the poor who haven't fared so well.
So I just want to say, everything Obama's done has been great, and we need to change it by continuing it.
That's sort of her line, and it's a tough line to sell. Now, look, if the economy gets a lot better in the next 6 months, then Hillary's probably going to win. But if we're still in this rut, and the economy, we got a lousy jobs report 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of the worst we've had in 2 years, and then the GDP numbers for the first quarter came in at less than 1% growth. That is anemia. That's economic anemia, and it's hard. I just think it's going to be really hard for her to say, let's do more of the same. 4 more years. It's like Loretta Lynch. Did you see what she said yesterday? The way we deal with terrorists is, ready? All you need is love.
Right.
Yeah, we went over that.
Yeah.
Well, Trump needs some loving, because Trump needs some loving in the money department. I mean, for the first time, he's made a personal plea for money, and he's going to do a match dollar for dollar up to $2 million. But she's got a stronger game on the ground than him. She has 900 people working for her. He only has 73 people working for him. He needs to step up his game, don't you think?
That's an interesting point about the look. Hillary is going to have an army of liberal activists that the Democrats always do, because a lot of the Democrats don't have jobs, so they have time to go out canvass and knock on doors and so on. But it's interesting because when I visited the Trump campaign 2 or 3 weeks ago, I go to the campaign office and there are like 9 people there. That's smaller than a city council election fight. And my point is that Trump was able to win the primary, and it's actually incredibly admirable. He spent almost no money. He had almost no political infrastructure. He didn't hire massive numbers of political consultants, and he still kicked everybody's butt. And, Trump is a businessman, and I don't think he needs a massive amount of money. I really don't. This election, because...
Why? Because he uses Twitter and social media?
What?
I mean, he uses Twitter and social media as a campaign tool.
Well, he is the master of commanding the media. He did it throughout the 6 months of the primary season, and without spending money, because he was on TV every day. My point is, he's got two big things that he has to do. He has to knock his convention speech right out of the park, and number two, he's got to kick her butt in the debate. And when he does that, if he does those two things, he's going to be the next president of the United States. If he fails at those two things, then Hillary's going to win. But I've seen him in action. I'm working with him now. I'm quite impressed with him. Not in the last couple of weeks. He had a terrible 2 weeks, but I think he's going to get his game face back on, and I think it's going to be this thing. For those who think that this race is over and that he can't win, that's crazy. I still think this race could go either way.
Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen, testifying before Senate Banking Committee yesterday, said the reason the unemployment rate went down despite the anemic jobs report in May is because people have stopped looking for work. That's good news.
Yeah, well, this is why, by the way, by the time Obama leaves the office, we'll probably have no unemployment because nobody's going to be looking for work. But the real unemployment rate in the country, as we've talked about so many times, is about 10% when you take into account the people who just dropped out and are not looking. And then also, guys, you have to take into account people who are counted as unemployed, as having jobs, but they don't have a full-time job. So they're working maybe 25 or 22 hours a week. We count them as employed, but good luck feeding your family if you're working 25 hours a week.
All right. He is Steve Moore, Chief Economist at the Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks for joining us. Oh, the book, Fueling Freedom. Fueling Freedom. You got to pick up that book. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks for making me a TV star.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Steve.
Eddie, join us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Coming up next, Shaka Fata. Shaka Fata. Dan explains Shaka Fata. But first, here's your forecast. It's here. Oh, it's coming on in. Some rain and some thunderstorms, some high winds. A high of 77 degrees. And then tonight, thunderstorms around, a low of 65. And tomorrow, guess what? We're going to have some showers and thunderstorms, but a cloud and sun mix by the afternoon, a high of 75 degrees. Let's get those travel times. It must be nasty out on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, like you said earlier, Amy, it might be the calm before the storm. A lot of the travel times are actually a little bit lighter than usual. That is likely to change now with that rain hitting. The Kennedy, it's holding right now. 45 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. There's no savings inbound on the express at the moment. Eden's 25 minutes Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 30. The Eisenhower, 52 minutes Thorndale to downtown. It is very heavy outbound. 47 minutes to Manheim, an hour and 5 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The Rhine is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, delay free. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy Irving Park to Fullerton, and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Adams Tollway, Reagan Tollway, much lighter than normal. Northbound Tri-State, though, it's stop and go 115th to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Veterans Memorial slow about into the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles, then from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
If you haven't purchased a MyPillow yet, why not? If for no other reason than you haven't changed your pillow in the last couple of years, now would be a great time to do it. You know, your pillow absorbs dead skin, dirt, skin oils, dust mites. That's why it's so heavy. And that can all cause allergies, acne, asthma, and really who knows what else. You really deserve a washable MyPillow. It comes with a 10-year warranty, and it's a great health investment. Best of all, I know you'll get the best night's sleep ever. I know I do. And MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation for good reason. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy for the 2-for-1 offer. Give one as a gift. Keep one for yourself. Do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com. Promo code Amy. That's 800-489-0201.
I'm on a mission to provide home ownership to fellow veterans. My name is Jack Amberg, a 26-year veteran of the U.S. Army. I work at the Federal Savings Bank, a veteran-owned and operated bank, and I am certified to provide VA mortgages in all 50 states. It is my passion to guide you through the home buying process, structure your loan to fit your financial personality, and provide the best combination of rate and fees to accomplish the mission you give me. At the Federal Savings Bank, we control the process from start to finish as we underwrite the loans ourselves. If you're a realtor, I welcome the opportunity to help you grow your VA business. If you're a veteran, I speak your language, so let me explain all of your benefits. Whether you're a realtor or a veteran, call me, Jack Amberg, your VA guy, at 630-995-5244. That's 630-995-5244.
Terms and conditions may vary, subject to underwriting approval. Banker NMLS number 698289. The Federal Savings Bank is an equal housing lender and member of FDIC. NMLS number 411500.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream Ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560. The Answer.
Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan.
Chaka Khan. Just sing it anyway.
Shaka Khan. Let me rock Shaka Khan.
We'll get to Shaka Fata. Talking Trump and Hillary. Let's get a couple calls in. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I'm just trying to get ahead of all the Trump bashers out there. Not my first choice, but look, at least he's got the courage, the guts, and the honesty to attack political correctness and all of the other enemies that our current administration refuses to name. I personally think that he would pick up more voters, especially women, if he could just restrain himself from being vulgar and crude. I think that turns off.
Do that.
The points he makes are okay. I think if he can just change how he's making them, I think that plays out well with a subset of people like Manhattaners who are kind of in your face, used to it, where you walk into a store and they say, "What do you want?" Not good morning.
Right.
And
a little modulation. I got it. Thanks for the
just
call.
Learn a little bit, Donnie. Learn.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I agree.
So don't change the man, but change his message
No.
or the way he's delivering
No,
it.
he just rounded off a little bit. Sean in Elmwood Park. Speaking of Trump
I want to
haters.
ask Stephen Moore, how is the social engineering of the Keynesian cocktail for the middle class any different than Hillary Clinton's that Trump proposes? He also talks about raising the minimum wage. He also talks about taxing the rich. It's the same nonsense, and this is why the wheels fall off when a Fabian socialist tries to debate a Trotskyite. It's all the same lie, only the Trotskyites is better. It's built in more fantasy, and the wheels are coming off. And even Stephen Moore is dejected in the reality, because what Donald Trump cannot do, he cannot explain to the people that government doesn't control an economy, it penalizes it. That's the problem. He's not talking about free markets. He's not talking about capitalism. He's certainly not talking about property rights and liberty.
All right.
And that has been the problem with this candidate for months. And yet these parliament smoking waitresses with their hangover keep telling me to get on board. I'm not getting on board. You can go down in the quicksand with them.
Thanks for the call, Sean. By the way, Steve Moore, very sanguine on Trump, still thinks he's going to win 35 states.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
What motivates a creative thinker? Is it a selfless desire to benefit mankind?
A hunger for fame, fortune, and accolade? The need to prove superiority? Or is it a self-sufficient drive to pursue a creative vision, independent of others' needs or opinions? Ayn Rand addresses these questions in her novel, The Fountainhead. The novel is the story of Howard Rourke, an innovative architect expelled from a prestigious architectural school for his unconventional designs, who, as Rand puts it, struggles for the integrity of his creative work against every form of social opposition. Initially rejected by 12 publishers, The Fountainhead became a bestseller within 2 years, purely through word of mouth. Pick up your copy of The Fountainhead today. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Call you on the telephone, but you're never home.
What
never.
song
That's
are you? Sound like you're singing Gloria.
Sheena Easton.
Sheena Easton.
Yeah. Sugar Walls, if you know what I mean. Many of you own or manage growing companies, and you know that your entire business depends on your phones. If your phone service provider struggles to deliver your calls, it can mean lost revenue. That's often the case with an outdated phone system. The solution? Well, it's a company that we use here at AM 560, Innovative Networks. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing solutions that scale as our business expands. Innovative Networks can even replace your outdated phone system at no cost and provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. You'll save money and be more focused on growing your business. Here at AM 560, we're thrilled with Innovative Networks, so follow our lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-453-7777. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Call the number 312-453-7777 or visit go4inet.com. That's go, the number 4, I-N-E-T, phonehome.com.
Is your balance off due to a head injury? Is your head injury due to sports, auto accident, military service, a trip, slip, or fall? Get back on track. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison are conducting a clinical research study and are in need of participants who have difficulty with balance as a result of their head injury. If you're between the ages of 18 and 65, have experienced a mild or moderate head injury over 1 year ago, and now have difficulty with balance, you may qualify. Please visit headinjurytrial.com for more information and to find out if you qualify for this clinical research opportunity. Limited space is available, so please visit headinjurytrial.com or call 877-835-4139. Compensation of up to $2,000 is available for qualified participants. Visit headinjurytrial.com or call 877-835-4139.
Here are the stories we're watching today. The National Weather Service says severe weather is set to hit the Chicagoland area. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Donald Trump has his hand out, urging supporters to donate to his campaign, promising to match what they give, up to $2 million, at a time when Democratic rival Hillary Clinton has a huge fundraising edge on him.
You know, the same thing happened to me in the primaries. They were all spending 2, 3, 4 times as much money as me, and I won in landslides.
The presumptive Republican nominee plans a speech this morning to counterattack Hillary Clinton's yesterday when she said he'd be dangerous for the economy. Trump will call her a failed Secretary of State, and she'll detail her own economic plans later today after meeting with House Democrats. Now, days after yet another push for gun control got bogged down in party line politics at the Senate, a bipartisan plan has emerged, and Fox's Jared Halpern's live at the Capitol.
Several senators from both sides of the aisle believe they have struck a balance between national security and due process.
There's a way for you to get off the list, but there's not a way to stop you from buying the gun unless you do what we're doing.
South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham is a supporter, so is Virginia Democrat Tim Kaine.
I'm sick of the shootings. I'm sick of the vigils.
The measure would ban gun sales to anyone on the no-fly list or a list requiring intensive pre-flight screening. Both lists combined total more than 100,000 people. 2,800 of those are U.S. citizens who could challenge in court their inclusion. Dave.
Jared, it's happened again. Another kid dies in a hot car, the 16th one this year in the U.S. A 6-month-old girl inside a minivan parked outside her family's home in Melissa, Texas yesterday. Her dad, Michael Thedford, is charged with manslaughter, and his neighbor is shocked.
On Sunday, we saw family members and them having a good time at Father's Day.
A sick worker has been rescued from the frigid South Pole, being flown away from a remote U.S. science outpost. A risky mission. Planes don't usually fly there from between February to October because of dangerous cold and dark conditions. The worker needs medical care that can't be provided in Antarctica. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, and we've had some heavy rain showers pass through the area this morning. And dangerous weather is expected throughout the upper Midwest today. In the Southwest, while excessive heat warnings remain in effect for Arizona, Nevada, and Southern California, it's the threat of tornadoes and heavy rain and hail, along with a flash flood watch in effect for the Chicagoland area today. Chicago's City Council could vote on a pair of ordinances that would place regulations on 2 online-based services. One measure, expected to go before the City Council today, would set certain guidelines for companies that provide ride-sharing like Uber and Lyft. The other piece of legislation deals with home-sharing companies like Airbnb. An elderly woman is dead following a house fire in west suburban Bellwood. Blaze began early this morning inside a home in the 3300 blocks of Wilcox Street. Several others were displaced. Hours are counting down to the deadline when Dennis Hastert must report to a prison to begin serving a 15-month sentence. A federal judge ordered the former U.S. House Speaker to report to a Rochester, Minnesota Federal Medical Facility, a prison, by no later than today at 2 p.m. Will County Sheriff's Office investigating the death of a 17-month-old found in a Homer Glen pool. David Garcia Jr. was discovered unresponsive Sunday evening and was quickly hospitalized. Later, he was pronounced dead. Cardinals over the Cubs 4-3, while the White Sox beat Boston and the Green Monster 3-1. Chris Sale first to win 12 in the Bigs. The news, a service of Lead Safe America. Do you live in an historic home? Are you renovating? Your children could be at risk of lead poisoning. It takes just a microscopic amount of lead dust to poison a child. Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network and the service of Turnkey.pro, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Solar City shares are among those to follow today after Tesla Motors offered to buy the company. Solar City's controlling shareholder Elon Musk is also the CEO of Tesla. First-time home buyers helped KB Home to sell more of its houses in the recent quarter. KB says new orders and deliveries increased. Its earnings were stronger than expected. Chief Executive Jeff Metzger says millennials are finally getting a job and moving out from their parents' houses. One of the strongest areas for sales, Central California, including Sacramento, not normally a hotbed for housing. Love to watch movies in IMAX? More theaters are coming. IMAX and AMC theaters say they are adding 25 IMAX at AMC theaters through 2019 at new and existing AMC locations. The Dow closed up 24 yesterday. NASDAQ added 6, S&P up 5. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The best conversations happen with a cigar in one hand and a fine drink in the other. Join Dennis Prager live in Chicago for Cigar Night, presented by Precision Payroll of America on Thursday, August 11th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Dennis will be joined by AM 560's Dan Proft for an evening of cigar smoking and good conversation. Tickets start at just $29 and include a cigar. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Signature Bank and the Elmhurst Cigar House.
Here's an idea. Instead of waiting for your boss to give you a raise, give yourself one by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans. You could add hundreds of dollars each month to your bottom line, like a boss. Call 800-QUICKEN today or visit us online at QuickenLoans.com. A Quicken Loans refinance gives you the financial power to enhance your life and pursue your passion. Our passion is client service. Here's the proof. For 6 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN and buy in. Again, that number is 800-QUICKEN. Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
It's 8:06 and time to get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 has delays from the Adams Tollway to Thorndale with a crash on the right shoulder. The Edens is 21 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Kennedy 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45 as well. Inbound Eisenhower 55 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 35 from Manheim, outbound 47 to Manheim, an hour 5 to Thorndale. There's a crash at Oak Park Avenue in the right lane. Mount Stevenson, 45 minutes, either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, traffic is stop and go from Harlow to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway, Reagan Tollway, both light. Veterans Memorial slope out into the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. There are some flight delays and a few cancellations at O'Hare. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Flash flood watch in effect from 10 a.m. this morning through late tonight. We'll have a couple of thunderstorms today, which could be severe mainly late in the day with a high 77. Then a few thunderstorms around for the evening. Again, some may be severe, low of 64. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
71 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Master Fence Rental, keeping your event or work site safe. Visit masterfencerental.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Using the term radical Islamic extremism is not a counterterrorism strategy. It is a political talking point, plain and simple.
I think Donald Trump has said he's qualified to be president because of his business record. He's written a lot of books about business. They all seem to end at chapter 11.
All of the money she's raising, that's blood money. That's blood money. Look, she's getting tremendous amounts of money from Wall Street. She's going to take care of Wall Street. She's getting tremendous amounts of money from lots of people. She's going to take care of all those people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, with respect to the Orlando killer, we got a couple new people talking and his father still talking. Why don't we start with his father, Orlando killer's father? He seems to really enjoy talking to the media.
Oh, he loves the spotlight. If anybody loves this more than him, let me know, because every day he's answering their questions, welcoming them in. It's so bizarre.
Perhaps. Well, I mean, don't forget, this is somebody who was producing videos on YouTube, kind of projecting himself into Afghan politics, and I think likes the attention, likes the notoriety he was searching for previously. He's provided with it now, and the interesting thing is not just that he keeps talking, not that he enjoys the media spotlight so much, even though he is denouncing what his son did. It's that he's recasting his position, because certainly previous videos that he posted with respect to his interjection into Afghan politics indicated some sympathies with the Taliban.
Right, but this is not a grieving father. I mean, this guy is dressed to the nines every day, knowing that the media is out there. He had a Muslim burial for his son yesterday, undisclosed location, but he's always ready to go. When the media comes knocking, there he is.
Here's what he had to say to CNN yesterday.
And I'm very sorry and I'm very upset that he did what he did inside the United States.
But you don't know why he did what he did?
I'm not aware of at all. I wish he was alive. I could ask him the same question that you have. And I cannot tell you why he did do such an act. This is against the principle of me and the whole family.
He talked about evidently some terrorist leanings, like with Islam.
That I don't know. And I say whatever he said is his act, that we are not aware of it. Even if he was my son, I don't approve of anyone doing such a thing against the homeland.
And it's worth noting that we still have a grand jury that has been convened and the investigation pending into the Orlando killer's wife and possibly beyond that. We don't really know.
Well, also, too, a man came forward, a fellow Muslim, goes to the same mosque as Omar Matin. He said, look, you say if you see something, you're supposed to say something. He said, I did. I told the FBI a few years ago when Matin was bragging about al-Awlaki's videos. He called the FBI. Matin told him that they were very powerful, and he thought, that raised a red flag, and I need to say something to the feds, and he actually called the FBI.
Very introverted. Omar had mentioned to me that he had seen videos of Anwar al-Awlaki, which threw up a red flag for me, and I asked him what he thought about them, and he told me they were very powerful, which raised the flag even more for me.
And he came forward because Donald Trump was arguing that the Muslim community isn't doing enough. And here's someone who's a devout Muslim, but who also goes to the same mosque, who did something. But still, it wasn't enough for the FBI to keep him on the terror watch list or even put him on the no-fly zone.
Well, it would be interesting to learn whether the second investigation into the Orlando killer after the American-born suicide bomber in Syria who came from the same mosque that the Orlando killer attended. It'd be interesting to know if the FBI did interview or have knowledge about this alert that the friend whose clip we just played there, that he had been in contact with the FBI. Is that part of the record that they knew about in that 2014 investigation? And if not, why? It's very much like the conversation about that gun store owner who had the Orlando killer in his gun shop 5 weeks before the horrific terrorist act that he committed, notified the FBI, didn't have the name, notified the FBI, and there wasn't the follow-up that, had there been, perhaps could have prevented what occurred the weekend before last.
And in that case, with the gun store owner, the FBI should have showed up right away and taken the surveillance video and done some facial recognition or something. But they didn't do that because there was no name. And even if he gave him a name, who knows if it would be the right one or not.
So, I mean, this isn't leveling accusations against the FBI, I wouldn't say, but it is raising legitimate questions that I certainly would like to hear answers to.
But wait, there's more. Now, overnight, a man has come forward speaking with Univision, or as we say, Univision, and he claims that he was Omar Matin's gay lover. They met on Grindr. They had 15 to 20 encounters at different hotels in Orlando. And he said he wasn't violent. He said Matin, he was a snuggler.
Senator Cornyn put forward a serious...
Oh, that's not it.
Did you ever detect any kind of violence actions from him or attitudes from him?
Not at all. I never detect anything. He was a very sweet guy, very, cuddly. He loved to be cuddly. That's one of the things I start to get and see from him. He looking for love. He looking to be embraced.
And why does this matter? Because the FBI is going to be interviewing him. He used the name.
Have been,
they
actually.
Have been, right, to see if there's a different motive and a different perspective. Because this man, Miguel, whose voice has been digitized, and he put on a 70s mustache and a wig for this interview. He claims that it wasn't ISIS that inspired him, but it was AIDS that inspired him. He claimed that there was a threesome once and that this Puerto Rican that he had slept with after they had done the dirty deed came forward and said that he was HIV positive. And I know that's a lot to process.
The layers there. Yes.
Well, I mean, it's crazy.
Univision noted that they have not been able to independently verify the man's story, but also said the FBI confirmed that FBI officials have been questioning the individual you just heard from and the characterization that the individual gave that you just recounted, Amy. So that's a supposed factored in.
And Miguel said that Matin's wife knew that he was gay and that his father forced him into an arranged marriage.
Yeah. Twice.
And then they asked him, too, about his religion. Did he ever talk that he was a Muslim?
Did he ever talk about his religion?
Yes, I asked him about his religion.
And what did he say?
I asked him about the Muslim religion, and he said Muslim religion is a beautiful, spiritual religion. It's a religion where everything is about love. Mm-hmm. It's a religion, it's like everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
Gay, trans, bisexual, hetero, everybody.
Yeah. Let me just go on the record as saying I am not abiding this guy's story.
So you think it's?
I don't know if there's some of it's true and some of it isn't. I have no idea, but there are some real questions about the credibility of this individual. So it'll be interesting to see if this actually goes anywhere once the FBI essentially check his story and see if they can corroborate anything he's saying. But we know, by the way, I mean, yes. I know we like to just kind of dispense with all the evidence because there are certain people that want this to be true. We know from teachers and classmates in grade school that he had violent tendencies, that he had threatened to shoot up the school. We know going all the way back to kind of pre-adolescence, he allegedly celebrated the 9/11 attacks.
Oh yeah,
on their
bragged to people, said Osama bin Laden was his uncle.
So going back 15 years, all that we know from a number of witnesses that had interactions with him as a young man to present, including the 2 times he was investigated, including the 2 trips to Saudi Arabia, which we still don't know very much about. To put it all on this guy and what he said about his one-off relationship, no. I'm going to go ahead and believe somebody when they tell me who they are and show me who they are.
You don't like the
and I believe, well, no, I'm not talking about this guy. I'm going to go ahead and believe this was a radicalized Islamic terrorist. That's who he said he was. That's what he did. And that's what I believe.
Well, this guy, Miguel, said that he did target Pulse nightclub because it was Latino night and he was upset with Puerto Ricans, and a lot of Puerto Ricans that were gay frequented that nightclub. We also learned for a fact,
wait, hold on a second, though. So just right there, this is where the credibility of this guy. So this guy says he was attracted to Latinos but disliked Puerto Ricans because of that incident you mentioned. So you go into a club that is frequented by Latinos, some of whom are Puerto Ricans, and you kill everybody indiscriminately. That doesn't seem to be a motive that kind of that helps explain why you would kill people indiscriminately if you wanted to target just Puerto Ricans who you didn't like.
But remember that African-American female who had been shot and he was going to shoot her gun? He said, no, you guys have been through enough. And he let her go because she was African-American.
And so what about the rest?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
I think this guy's got a whole lot of crazy going on. And this guy, Miguel, I mean...
Which guy's got a whole lot of crazy going on?
I think
all
both of them
above?
have a lot of crazy.
Yes.
But we do know that Matin, this is from the FBI, a source from the FBI quoted by CBS News. Matin entered the Pulse nightclub 1 hour before the start of the massacre. He got a wristband. He left at some point and then returned 2 hours later and started shooting.
Verlin on the south side. You're on Chicago.
How you all doing this morning? Now, liberals suffer from this called the do something disease. You know, this trying to ban assault weapons and everything is a joke. Listen, it's been an assault ban since, 94? And in my community, it's still 500 and some odd deaths every year. So, and ain't nobody got killed by an assault weapon. So it's all about these people come from a part of this world that have no respect for human life. And it's either just do as I say, not as I do. And it's all about religion. You got to do what God say. Everything else doesn't matter. Now, I want to respond to something else. You know, it's separate. It's kind of separate, but it got something to do with guns. You had a guy that called in Friday, the one that Sean said needs to be calling NPR. That guy, he only thinks city, local. He's small-minded. Because what about the people that stay along the border that got to defend their land and their property and their family against drug mules, coyotes, people that's trying to deliver drugs and illegal aliens into this country that has high-powered weapons? You gonna use a 6-shooter against them? You gotta think about what everybody in this country is going through. They need the biggest gun they can to defend their land. This stuff needs to stop. I'm glad it all got voted down, But people just don't understand. You got crazy people out here, and you got a culture that doesn't have a value on life. And I want to tell Sean something. Sean, if you don't vote or if you abstain, you help Hillary get into this White House, your Second Amendment is going to be gone or restricted to a point where you won't recognize it anymore. It's going to be your own damn fault. And I want to ask you one question. Then what you going to do?
Thanks for the call, Verlin. I think we need a Sean from Elmwood Park, Verlin from the South Side undercard to the Dennis Prager, Dan Prof Cigar Night.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fun. Mike in Des Plaines, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I've got a correlation here for the FBI. Mm-hmm. This guy was from Florida. The other suicide bomber, American-born, was from Florida. It's too hot down there, and there's a correlation between mental illness and hot. It's hot in Iraq and Syria. The next place is going to be Phoenix or Houston or Florida. We need to concentrate on the hot areas in the summer. That's when people go nuts.
Okay, Mike, take that under advisement.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You didn't play my song. Anywho, today we're going to have cloudy skies right now, and as we've been mentioning all morning long, a pretty severe thunderstorm. By this afternoon, southern suburbs are going to get hit harder, a high of 77 degrees. Tonight, thunderstorm around, some severe. And then tomorrow, some times of clouds and sun. Can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm, a high of 75 degrees. How are those travel times on the roadways considering the storms coming? Here's Jim Telemonte with the answer.
Well, thanks, Amy. Right now, some aren't too bad, some are awful, like southbound 53. Just a mess from Algonquin to Thorndale, where it's a crash. We first were told it was on the shoulder, but no, 2 left lanes are blocked at Thorndale on southbound 53. There are some flight delays at both Chicago airports this morning, and you want to keep an eye on that throughout the day if you're flying. Eden's inbound, heavy Peterson to Cicero, rollover crash in the right lane. 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. There's a collision past Toohey on the shoulder. The Kennedy is 45 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound now 55. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound an hour and 25 minutes. Some heavy delays on the extension starting around North Avenue. Stevenson, 45 minutes either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. Listen to this special offer from my friends at Low T Center. In honor of Men's Health Awareness Month, Low T Center is offering a $25 testosterone test. You'll know your results within 20 minutes for just $25. If you've been wondering what your number is or have been putting it off, now's the time to do it. Only $25 with or without insurance. Low T Center is offering this $25 test this week only through Thursday, June 23rd, exclusively to AM 560 listeners, so be sure to call now to secure your appointment. If you've noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels can make you feel tired, can raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. So in honor of Men's Health Awareness Month, take advantage of the special $25 offer from Low T Center, but you must call by this Thursday, June 23rd. Make your health a priority in honor of Men's Health Awareness Month. Call Low T Center now, 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Again, the number 630-409-4305. And tell them Dan Prof sent you, or you can go to lowtcenter.com.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Guardian Security Services. Because here's the deal. If you're unhappy with your door staff or on-site security officers at your business or property, or you're just not receiving the services you were promised, there's no reason to tolerate it. Call my friends right now at Guardian Security Services to discuss your security officer needs. These guys are amazing. They've been Chicago's best for 41 years. They only assign the most professional, highly trained security officers in all of Chicagoland. Their vetting practices are exceptional. If you're finally ready to explore an alternative to your current security officer provider, then doggone it, do it. Pick up the phone right now and schedule a free security assessment with my friends at Guardian Security Services. Tell them me, Joe Walsh, sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. Again, 708-385-3300 or online at guardiansecurityinc.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I'll tell you what, the Olympics in Rio, which haven't started yet, are getting off to a terrible start.
Well, they begin in 44 days, Dan, so what more?
44 days, and you've had politicians there declare a state of emergency because of the financial distress the games are imposing on the city. Boy, that sounds familiar. Yeah, thank goodness Chicago didn't get the Olympics. I mean, it's just incredible.
It hasn't benefited any city that I know of.
In addition to that, you've got the Zika virus, and that's keeping athletes like Rory McIlroy from going, as well as an American cyclist whose wife is pregnant. He doesn't want to go. He's not going to go. And then these stories in terms of violence. Two members of the Australian Paralympic sailing team were robbed at gunpoint. And now Australia's Olympic team is urging Brazilian authorities to implement Olympic-scale security before an athlete gets hurt. This is highlighting some of the fears about crime in Rio that the world has in sending their athletes to Rio. And
but they're targeting the most vulnerable with these people in wheelchairs.
Well,
I mean, it's sick.
They're Paralympic athletes, right? But here's the thing.
What could be worse than that?
Well, there's an important story in the Daily Mail. The road that leads to the road that's called the Red Line. It's Rio's main highway and the only route into Brazil's Olympic City.
Okay.
So there's a 13-mile express that runs from the airport into the city. It's called the Red Line.
I'm sure they built that just for the Olympics.
No.
It was there before?
Yeah, and here's the problem with the Red Line.
Uh-oh.
For the most part, the Red Line is lined with sprawling favela shanty towns, which are dangerous no-go zones controlled by heavily armed drug gangs.
Okay.
So this is being called by some Rio's Highway of Terror. You had a shooter take aim at cars on the Red Line that all athletes and fans must travel to get to Brazil, to get to the Olympic City in Rio.
How the heck did they get the Olympics anyway? The International Olympic Committee, IOC, should have known about this. I mean, and it's not going to clean up anytime. This is in the neighborhood too, where they shoot down police helicopters.
This is a highway, this Red Line, that's been blighted by shootings, carjackings, and hostage takings by these gangs. So book your ticket now to Rio. Oh, and then there's this.
You can still get a lot of tickets to events too, because not a lot of people are going.
Juma won't be going.
I told you not to bring this up again.
Juma is the female jaguar that has departed.
You stop.
The Olympic torch relay that took a nasty turn when a Brazilian soldier shot and killed a jaguar that had just been involved in the torch ceremony. An Olympic mascot, Juma, female jaguar, photographed in the town of Manaus as the torch passed through.
Manaus? Oh, wait.
What?
Okay.
Manaus. As the torch passed through on its way to Rio. The whole thing went off without a hitch, but after the ceremony, they tried to get the jaguar back in her cage. She bolted, went towards the Brazilian soldier. He opened fire, killing Juma.
Oh, it's so sad. I mean, this was a beautiful creature. I'm not going to cry, but I'm on the verge of tears because there's this beautiful picture of her sitting down next to the torch. She does have a huge collar on and a chain for a leash. And the one picture, there's a soldier petting her. And then in the next picture, there's a soldier shooting her. And they shot her in the head. It was a quick shot, point blank range.
Stopping power. Yeah.
Kitty, go down. Kitty.
You have to put a chalk outline around the Olympic rings.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
That soldier was jumpy. I just showed you a picture of Juma. Isn't Juma cute? She was cute. Yeah, nice. Okay, looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what I did. Call David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. That's right. If you're purchasing a home, you can call your bank, surf the internet, call a lender advertising on radio, or you could do what I did and call David. Why David? Because in addition to his outstanding customer service, market knowledge, and low rates, David has a team of dedicated and experienced in-house underwriters, which gives David total control over the loan process. When purchasing a home, always compare closing costs, interest rates, and most importantly, make sure your lender has in-house underwriters. That's real important. So if your lender doesn't have in-house underwriters, hang up and call David. If you're purchasing a new home and would like to work with an experienced loan professional who appreciates and values your business and has in-house underwriters, then call David now. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Can a Christian university remain a Christian university in Obama's America? We'll talk to Biola University President Barry Corey at 8:38.
And not only Dennis Hastert, but someone named Shaka Fata. What's his name? Shaka Fata is going down. But first, here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. A small plane has just left the South Pole with a very sick worker in a daring rescue mission from the remote U.S. science outpost there. Federal officials say the twin turboprop plane will then fly 1,500 miles to a British station on the Antarctic Peninsula, then take the worker off Antarctica for medical attention that could not be provided on the remote continent. There's a big danger here of flying in the pitch dark and cold. Planes do not usually land at the polar outpost from February to October. Nasty weather bearing down on the Midwest. Storms forecast for northern Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, as well as southern Wisconsin and much of Michigan. Senate today expected to pass a Republican-backed bill to expand the FBI's secret surveillance powers. The bill comes in response to mass shootings at an Orlando nightclub. Donald Trump forming an advisory board to focus on issues important to evangelicals. Reverend A.R. Bernard will lead the larger Faith and Cultural Advisory Committee. Presumptive Democrat presidential nominee Hillary Clinton claiming Trump would endanger the U.S. economy. Campaigning in Ohio, Clinton argued that policies of the likely Republican nominee may throw the U.S. economy back into a recession. Chicago City Council could vote on a pair of ordinances today, both regulating online-based services. Companies like Uber and Lyft and home-sharing companies like Airbnb. An elderly woman is dead following a house fire in west suburban Bellwood. Members of the Chicago Teachers Union expected to gather downtown for a series of morning protests demanding more taxes be paid so schools can be funded. And the hours counting down to the deadline when Dennis Hastert must report to a prison in Rochester, Minnesota to begin serving a 15-month sentence. Cardinals over the Cubs. White Sox beat Boston. And the news, a service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Get a $35 instant rebate on a new DeWalt cordless drill kit when you trade in your old power drill. That's Napa know-how. While supplies last, trade-in rebate may vary. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is looking for a united GOP to take on Hillary.
If Paul Ryan, if all these squishy, timid Republicans, the NRA, some fair-minded media types If any of those factions would be in Donald Trump's corner, maybe he'd be up by 10 points right now. Who knows? Who knows? Democrats have no trouble uniting.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
I've always believed that the best conversations happen with a fine cigar in one hand and an adult beverage in the other. Well, on Thursday, August 11th, Dennis Prager and I will be getting together for a cigar night. It's happening at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, and it's presented by Precision Payroll of America. Join us for an evening of cigar smoking and good conversation. If you've seen any of the Against the Current interviews I've done at upstream-ideas.com, then you know what this event will look like. Tickets start at $29, and every ticket includes a cigar. Everyone who attends will have the chance to meet Dennis Prager and have him sign copies of his books. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigar. Or text the word cigar to 64636. Sponsored by Signature Bank and the Elmhurst Cigar House.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice, and then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable, and I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing, independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest-growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:39 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 is jammed Algonquin to before Thorndale with a crash in the two left lanes. The Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 26 to Kennedy. 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown, but outbound 55. The Eisenhower is a 45-minute drive from Thorndale to the Loop, but outbound an hour and 25 minutes. Heavy delays on the extension with a crash. Actually a stall before Mill Road in the left lane. The Stevenson looking at 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, not as warm. Couple of severe thunderstorms could cross the area, especially this afternoon and into the early evening, high 77. 71 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
So can you be a Christian college in Obama's America and Governor Moonbeam's California? And apparently the answer is increasingly no, you can't. And to discuss this, which is just a preview of what will happen in other states and to other institutions like Biola University, which is a well-known, respected evangelical Christian college in Southern California. We're joined by the president of that university, Barry Corey. President Corey, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, Dan. Thanks for having me on your program.
So California has introduced legislation that would jeopardize the existence of Biola University and its religious freedom by doing what?
Yeah, and many, many other colleges, I might add. Well, basically, a bill has been introduced to the Senate. It's passed in the Senate. It's now working its way through committee on the Assembly side, and it basically seeks to eliminate a longstanding California and, in conflict with a federal law that functionally eliminates the freedom of California faith-based colleges and universities to operate in ways that are consistent with our religious mission and tradition and faith tenets. And so, even though the free exercise of religion is, guaranteed by the U.S. and California constitutions, this bill would make religious colleges and universities like Biola and Westmont and Azusa Pacific and others really vulnerable to anti-discrimination lawsuits. It's an unprecedented kind of government policing of colleges and universities because of our faith beliefs.
How specifically does it manifest itself? Because I'm reading kind of the Biola University mission statement, and it reads in part, Biola offers biblically centered education, intentional spiritual development, and vocational preparation with a unique learning community, and here's the key, where all faculty, staff, and students are professing Christians. Is that, faculty, staff, and students are professing Christians, is that part of the problem, what would be covered by that California legislation?
Well, it's actually a very, very confusing bill, and there have been kind of amendments that have been tossed around. And so even as the bill passed the Assembly yesterday, it's a little bit unclear as to what it actually does. But here's the bottom line. If it's focused primarily on students. So if a student at one of our colleges or universities believes that our standards of faith somehow discriminate against him or her, they can basically sue us. This is what the law says. So if religious schools like Biola or Pepperdine have expectations that students, and these students voluntarily choose to learn in our community, right? Mm-hmm. That they live differently, they're asked to live differently than they would at a public or not faith-based school, we could be subject to discrimination lawsuits. And that's what's confusing about the bill. The bill says, well, you can have conduct and housing standards, but you can't enforce them because they would be discriminatory.
Well, do you only admit professing Christians?
Biola does, and many Christian schools only accept professing Christians, and many Christian schools accept Christians or those that don't have a statement of faith. So for schools that do, if you read this bill literally, it says that we cannot discriminate based on religion. And it could say, well, then you have to change that statement, or you can't require students to go to chapel, or you can't have certain standards of conduct that are based on deeply held Christian beliefs. And so if you read the bill literally, this involves upholding principles of self-discipline in matters of sexual conduct, regardless of sexual orientation and gender identity, or in the use of alcohol or tobacco or drugs, or the integration of faith and learning to prepare our students to live lives of service. So it's like a vice that's squeezing faith-based higher education institutions. And even though this bill is a little bit ambiguous as actually what it really means, it does mean that we would be subject to lawsuits if students feel like our religious convictions are discriminatory against them. And the fact is...
Yeah, we have... your university calls to mind Wheaton College in suburban Chicago, where students sign a statement of faith. And we had an incident there last year with a professor who broke her statement of faith by mischaracterizing Islam and Christianity, conflating the two in certain respects that were a violation of her statement of faith. She was terminated. So if Illinois moved in the direction that California did, and it's probably purposely ambiguous, the legislation you're referencing, Wheaton College could potentially be subject to sanction or exposure for discrimination suit by the faculty as well.
It could, and though this bill addresses students, what's next? I think that's the question that we're asking. Is this the first of many bills that would basically kind of exhaust our capacity to live out our convictions? I mean, they could actually say that, well, the president of Wheaton College does not have to be a Christian, and it'd be discriminatory to select a president based on that person's religion. So if you project out, that's obviously a deep concern for us. So it feels like it's step one. And the thing is, this bill, Dan, is a solution in search of a problem. Mm-hmm. This bill implies that we are hiding discrimination or that we don't that we condone bullying, harassment, and we don't. There have been no incidences that I know of where any school in California has had situations that make this bill necessary. Bills seem to be like last resorts if nothing else is working out, and our students are thriving, and they come and they agree to live within a community with certain standards that have been true for millennia for people of faith, regardless of religion.
So you're finding yourself arguing for your right to be evangelical.
Right. That's the essence of this bill, is saying that anything at your core that affects the way students live their lives that is based on religion, you could be subject to a lawsuit.
Yeah, the problem that this is a solution for is Christianity. I mean, this is the imposition of will, and it's a nice threefer. I mean, with respect to the First Amendment, you got your violation of religious liberty there, you got your violation of free association, and you got your violation of freedom of speech and thought. So that's a real trifecta that you're facing out there.
Yeah, and I hope the Judiciary Committee that meets next Tuesday, a week from yesterday, notices that. This is the committee that says, is this bill constitutional? And for us, our main concern is that this bill limits our First Amendment religious liberties as a university, which, as you know, is a constitutional protection that the government can't make a law that impedes our free exercise of religion. All
right. He is President Barry Corey, president of Biola University. By the way, he's also the author of a book, Love, Kindness, Discover the Power of a Forgotten Christian Virtue. Dr. Corey, thanks for joining us. We'll be following your case. Good luck.
Dan, Amy, thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, Shaka Fata. Shaka Fata. That'll keep them coming back. And here's the forecast. Yeah. Shaka Fata today. Mostly cloudy right now. And we do have that chance of a severe thunderstorm coming here in a few hours, a high of 77 degrees. Tonight, thunderstorms around, some severe. And tomorrow, times of clouds and some sun, a shower or thunderstorm in the area, a high in the mid-70s. Any high travel times? Let's go to Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy. There are some flight delays and cancellations already in advance of that incoming weather. Travel time's fairly low on your inbound Kennedy, Amy. Delays start at Costner. It's 40 minutes, so here to downtown, but heavier in the express. The Ohio feeder is jammed. Outbound, 35 minutes to Montrose, 55 to the airport. Eden's 35 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. There was a crash at Cicero. Outbound, it's 26 minutes. The Eisenhower, looking at just 45 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, but outbound, an hour and 25 minutes. Jammed. St. Charles before Mill Road with a stall in the right lane. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 40. Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go 87th to LaGrange Road with the crash in the right lane. Then from the Stevenson to 31st, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, eastbound Adams Tollway slow Roselle to 53, and Bussey to Lee. 53 still heavy southbound from I-90 to Thorndale. There was an earlier collision there. I'm Jim Talamonte of the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. Now, I've done the research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues, Dennis Prager and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106th out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. Now that demand helps sell your home fast at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I was selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd definitely call Saul. 888-346-0666 or call Saul, SAUL.net. Call Saul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. Our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, it's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Shaka Khan, let me rock Shaka Khan.
Cheer dancing.
Philadelphia jury delivered a guilty verdict yesterday for Representative Shaka Fata, who was convicted on 29 separate federal charges related to bribery, money laundering, fraud.
Oh, my gosh.
And racketeering.
Go on. There's got to be more,
29
right?
separate federal charges related to bribery, money laundering, fraud, and racketeering. Just another Democrat going to prison. Fata, who lost his primary bid in April, gave no indication he planned to resign his seat from Congress. No, of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not.
And he'll still keep his pension, right? His government pension?
He had a nice final salvo to his constituents. It's been my privilege to serve the constituents of the 2nd Congressional District for over 20 years. Today's outcome isn't what we hoped, but I respect the nation's judicial system. They caught me bribing, money laundering, frauding, and racketeering in 29 different fashions. Now I'm going away.
29. But the only reason why we're doing this story is because we want to hear the song Shaka Khan.
Chaka 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 Khan.
Shaka 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 Khan.
Chaka 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 Khan.
Shaka Fata. Shaka Fata, let me rock you. Let me rock you.
Let me rock you, Shaka Fata.
We should Shaka Fata. Let me convict you. Let me convict you, Shaka Fata. That's all I want to do.
Yeah. It's the greatest song ever. It's so dumb. It's awesome, don't you think?
And in federal prison, baby, baby, when I lay with you, there's no place I'd rather be. He'll be able to sing that to his cellmate in prison.
Speaking of prisons, guess who's going to prison today?
Shaka Fata.
Well, besides Shaka Fata, it's Denny Hastert Day.
Denny Hastert?
Denny Hastert.
Denny Hastert, let me rock it, let me rock it.
No, that doesn't work with Denny Hastert.
Gross.
But yeah, the former House Speaker has got to report to the federal prison in Rochester, Minnesota by 2 p.m. this afternoon. And the thing is that it's so spread out. It's such a sprawling prison that he's probably not going to be captured by the media that's there unless they follow him with a chopper.
Yeah, look for the guy with a lot of bars of soap. I wonder if he's trying to get there early to get a good seat in the prison shower.
I mean, in a case like this, you do have to laugh so you don't cry.
I have something else I'm wondering about. I'm wondering
What?
if Shaka Fata will be sent to Rochester to serve time with Denny Hester.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Shaka Fata.
Chaka gone.
Shaka Fata.
Chaka gone.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you suffer sinus congestion, trouble breathing through your nose, which gets worse when you lie down, facial pain, and sinus infections, antibiotics, nasal sprays, and steroids can only do so much. I'm Dr. Robert Deitch, and excited to tell you that recent advances in our field have opened exciting new doors. We're leading experts in a newer procedure called balloon sinus dilation that gently expands your natural sinus openings to fix underlying drainage problems. It takes 15 minutes and is performed in our office. Balloon sinus dilation is minimally invasive using local anesthesia and best of all delivers immediate and long-lasting relief. We're board-certified ENT specialists who can help you avoid expensive hospital visits and long recovery times.
For immediate and long-lasting relief from your sinus problems, call ENT Associates today at 847-882-5888